Reasons why they don't really mind letting the Marcel go. So right now, it does seem that Team Spirit, they just get all of the answers before some of the problems even existed, right? Because Suyu came out late, and then, well, the Marcel's first, but again, they were able to answer that. So let's see how it translates in game. And in this current meta, it's all about map pressure. Let's look at what happens when there's no map pressure here. We're going to be seeing, this is, by the way, look at this, it's 243 in the game. This is fairly early on. And we can see that the gold lane here, Hiko is winning by a lot. And then we're going to go to the EXP lane, and look, three members of Team Spirit is already in the jungle, and it's already like, look at this. This is the second tier turret of Yangon, and they're able to go in. This is 2 minutes, right? This shows how much domination they got with the Barats as well as the Paquito, which, by the way, I feel like Barats is #1 EXP laner, and I would say Paquito is sharing that spot with Freya in terms of the best gold leader right now. And then we'll be looking at what one of the problem is here, where we see that Team Spirit, they overcommit, and yet there's not enough damage, there's not enough instant crowd control, and that's part of the problem that we have if we look at the draft here coming in from YG, where you can be a frontline, that's great, but not immediately. It needs time to set it up. Kaize can kind of stun, but only if he hits his shot. And then Blink kind of stun, but here's the thing. In the golden hour, some abilities go through, some don't. And we're going to be looking at this clip here, how so no damage is going through. So this draft doesn't really harmonize together.
I guess the clips that I also...
Yeah, speaking of harmonizing,
we are trying to harmonize right now. I guess the clips that I also picked up are just to further complement the idea that we're trying to put out about the bad relationship. I still don't completely understand the metaphor that he put out. Yeah, so but I think this will really kind of establish how within the team and within the lineup, it hasn't been really that great, and at the same time, against these opponents, against this lineup, it hasn't been as great. So where's the play button? Oh, there. Okay. So I chose this clip in particular. I chose this clip in particular because I think it was just very brief. But this was a quick movement from when they actually went to steal away that purple buff and immediately transition to this turtle, which, by the way, Ying was just trying to build by himself. So again, we mentioned he is expected to be the front. He's capable of being the front, but that's just pretty much it. He can kinda tank the damage as of this moment because it's not like he was really able to scale up either. Because again, both the sides were really matched really well. The guy beside me is doing a really well job as well, trying to mimic what I'm saying. But at the same time, what I'm trying to point out is you see how the combo of the burst is actually put into action here by Team Spirit. It was probably a bit of a worry for us that Eudoro had to deal with a Uranus, that Eudoro had to deal with a Marcel that could probably just be everywhere. Thank you for zooming it on my face so you don't get to see him anymore. But yeah, so at this point, I feel like this moment already meant so much to how Team Spirit have pretty much secured the game, because the moment that they were already able to deal with Ying and no other member from Yangon could actually provide help nor trade whenever Ying actually went down, I think that was pretty much it. It was one moment where they tried to trade. I feel like they kinda hit their power spikes, but I think it's a keyword. It's always kinda. It's never really enough for Yangon to actually go in for a fight against Team Spirit, and that was a one moment where you saw Blink or Sanji, as much as he already had items on a claw, try to go in, but just look at what happened afterwards. You just kind of see how sad this engage looked like. There was a full stack Blazing Duet, but he just gets cancelled out by Hiko and Tsar Egoist. So there's not much you can do with this lineup. There's a clear lack of synergy from Yangon Galacticos.
Not to say that the draft was bad, it's just that in the team itself, the chemistry isn't there, and there's so many answers that unfortunately was able to be drafted by Team Spirit. So it's just a very big mismatch.
That was a great breakdown. I also, you know, when you look at something go wrong that way, but Team Spirit has a few moments, I think you see the quality of both of these teams shine a lot. And when you see the caliber that we're looking at, these teams deserve to be here. They've played and played again. They've been knocked out. They've won. They've had bounce-back wins and victories. And I think you look at what is valued, and there's maybe 4 picks that seem to be kind of driving a lot of this, and it is the Barats. It also is making sure the Atlas isn't available, so someone's using a ban on that half the time, because you don't want both. And then, of course, you're going into the Paquito, and that is becoming a bit of an issue, and the Harara, which is the priority jungler before you start getting weird. And I'm not saying it's too weird, but, you know, you bring up the Suyos, the YSSs, the things that aren't really meta. So my question is, do you leave more open, knowing that, hey, let's just hit each other with everything? Like, you're going to get that, I'm going to get this and this, because it felt like they lost that trade. If they're on blue side, do they leave more open? Do they focus on the roam and see how deep we can go? Because I think they won that roam battle.
Because I think even Yangon don't want to use the Valentina anymore. Like, based on their game yesterday, so they just probably took it out. Well, it does kind of tell you something about how they won the draft, but being in blue side and still not having a better draft is a really weird thing to look at. So I do think there are a bunch of things that have to be dealt with if you look at Yangon.
Yeah, to answer Rinde's question, I think yes, leave a lot of things open. The problem is, I feel like YG came in with that mentality where they tried to get a lot of things open, but the problem is, they let Team Spirit get all of them.
I actually agree with you. I think that's Harley as well as
I feel like if they try that again, but not enough. I feel like Barats or Paquito, all of these are probably like
ဒါပေမဲ့လုံးနေတဲ့သူတော့အရင်တော့လုံးတဲ့သူတော့အသိရှိတယ် because I don't think Marcel just really enable the kind of play style that they've been wanting to play.
လောဆယ်like swing နဲ့ဗာနဲ့ဆိုကိုယ်အလုပ်ရှုပ်မှာ
where they had much better drafts or heroes to be exact. They've been doing things individually and they just layered together so well. In this scenario, it just really requires you to
နောက်တစ်ခုကလေဒါလူမစုံနည်းလို့မပြောပြသေးတာ
really would want to go for if you want to play fast, especially against like a team.
ပြောစရာရှိတယ်ဟိုပြောစရာဆိုတာလည်းကြေညာစရာလေးရှိတယ် announcement တစ်ခုပေါ့
So now they're back to the drawing board. Team Spirit have done something well, and they know exactly why. Team Yangon make an adjustment to back up. So far in our sets, we have not seen many teams go 1-1. It's either 2-0 and then 2-2, which means we are in a heavy momentum swing for this meta. I think it also means that generally some team figures it out a little bit earlier, a little bit faster, and it takes a minute to figure out how to handle that.
I feel like game number 1, it's kind of how Yangon want to test the waters, right? Because we even heard in the interview with Eterna where their coach said that they're going to be aggressive, but that was the kind of draft that was not aggressive, right? So maybe they just want to test the waters, and now Yangon, they just ban out the Barats as well as the Paquito, because I think even they agree with that. That's both of them.
Yeah, the question was, do you leave everything open, or do you take everything? Clear that YG said, we are going to take away the Paquito, we are going to take away the Atlas, we are going to take away the Barats, and now we're going to be on a more even playing field, because in this situation, we're getting one of the two we think are the most valuable. But I like this too because we're just going deeper into those frontliners, those fighters, those roams. I think this works for YG. We've seen it work.
Yeah.
Eudora gets banned. I feel like Hirara should be the top
အမှုကကိုယ့်ကိုတည်းမှာပတ်စံ9000လောက်ထည့်ထားခြင်းနဲ့ကိုယ့်ကို
I don't know, man. Hirara's been like
လိုရတဲ့ချိန်ကျမှကောက်ဝင်မယ်ဘာညာ website ထဲမှာဖတ်သွားခဲ့တာလို့ရတယ်
for Yangon.
ပြပေးလို့မျိုးလေ
I think you heard
တဲ့ချိန်ကျမှ
Yeah,
ဂိမ်း
same.
ထောက်
If it's just about what really works, I
လက်
just
ကားလား
think
ရ
if
မလား
Yangon
လက်ကား
have been drafting according to comfort,
လက်ကားရ
then
မ
that
လား
could have been a consideration. But now that will remain open. Honestly,
စပေါ်နာလေစပေါ်နာရှိရ
Spirit,
လေ
I
ကိုယ်
think
ဒီ
there's
မှာ
even the Belleric Paquito that are
ကျွန်တော်
available.
work လေးပြန်ချင်းနေမယ်နော်အဲ့တော့ဘန်နာလေးရဲ့
So
ချက်
yeah,
ပိတ်ထား
I
လိုက်
think like
ကိုယ်
there's a
ဆို
chance
တော့
that
ဘယ်
they
လိုမ
could
မြင်ရမှာဆို
actually steal the Zushin away as well, because again, the Eudora has
Okay.
been banned out, so you need someone else
Like,
to control during the fight. In terms of Belleric, I think it is an okay pick for Sawa, but Sawa does show quite a lot of heroes so far in MSC, so it might also be something that they want to play around. And with the Paquito as well as the Barat's band, I think Hero is just going to get a marksman here. Like some kind of marksman. The Esmeralda gets picked up as well as the Belleric. So now Team Spirit has already established they have a front line and they have a counter-engaged hero in the Belleric.
I almost think we've seen Sora picked up, right? And he's done okay. I like that maybe going deeper into an EXP lane. Remember, Phoveus was available last time.
Team Spirit ကတော့ပထမဆုံးတစ်ပွဲနဲ့ဥဆောင်သွားပါတော့ဒါပေမဲ့ပထမပွဲရောကိစ္စမရှိဘူးဘာလို့ဆိုတစ်ဖက်တင်းတစ်ဖက်အခြေအနေကြည့်ရဆိုတော့
I think he really should get a Zushin unless
ဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲဟိုပစ်လေးရမလားဒီ hero လေးရမလားဆန်းတဲ့သဘောမျိုးဆော့ကြတာများပါ
because Glue is counterable either with the carry or mids like the Vexanas. Yeah, so
ဘယ်လိုရင်းနဲ့
it's a good hero, it's just counterable.
ဘုရားကကတော့တောင်းနေပါလေ
earlier on Brig.
ဟာလေအဓိကစိတ်ပူတာတော့အဲ့နောက်ဆုံး last page ထုတ်လိုက်တဲ့ဟာလေးတော့နည်းနည်းစိတ်ပူတယ်ဒီကောင်ထိနိုင်မှာမလားပေါ့ဒီကောင်ထိမဲ့ဒီလိုတွေထွက်လာဖို့တော့မျှော်လင့်တယ်
like a Juicin was an okay pick into the Harley either way. Because you had the Crimson Beacon, you had like escape tools to just really keep yourself safe.
ထိနိုင်နေဘာလို့ Team Spirit ရဲ့ဟာလေးကိုပြီးရဲ့ရှေ့ပွဲတွေမှာကြီးခဲ့ပြီးတော့
since Spirit are looking to draft a really good comp
တော့လှုပ်တယ်ထဲမှာပါတယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒီကောင်ကောင်နာထောက်မဲ့ hero မျိုးဖြစ်ပါသေးလို့ပဲဆုတောင်းတော့ပထမဆုံးပွဲမှာလေ hero pick နည်းနည်းလေးတော့နေမှာ
but they respect a possible dire off which hasn't worked too well, but again on paper it's one of the only picks that can deal with the Esmeralda.
You know, I will say this. I feel like Carrara survived a lot of Gord ults because of those iframes.
Hero တွေ hero ကအတိဆော့နော်မေတာဝင်နေတယ်
Kevin?
I thought it was Glue.
ကိုမိုဘိုင်းလေးချင်းတိတ်ဆော့တော့မသိဘူးအရင်တော့ဆော့တယ်ငါတို့ဆော့ရချင်းအဲ့ hero မထွက်သေးဘူး
But do you think that maybe it's going back to the tried and true? I think maybe they liked the Gord. There was a good source of damage. There was just a lot of heroes that could get away from him.
I feel like Gord is good against the Esme and the Belleric, but that Harley is going to cause so much problems. Like, this Harley might be so that you always second guess what mid laner you want to use and what marksman you're going to use because both of these roles can get one-shotted by the Harley. Some heroes cannot win it, but Gord having no dashes is one of the more dangerous picks against the Harley.
Yeah, if it's dashes that we're talking
I
about,
don't Casalo don't do a puro
Valentina is still there as a mid option for young.
Then what if I grand
Since they can
final
also pretty much take away the wrath of Riot for themselves. The thing is, it hasn't really worked out for Kaize. That is what they want for them recently, especially as they're forced to play slower game. And you don't really know what the matchup is going to look like. Spirit get more and more range, especially in the mid. That might be tough to deal with. Because you really want to complement the blue.
Well, we've got our bans here. Zushin finally banned. So it does seem like they're going back to the There's been a resistance for Kaize to go off of the 4 chant heroes that he's used. There was a one-time Valentina, but otherwise, we've seen that Zushin, we've seen that Eudora. Well, we'll see if we see something different here.
Yeah, because for Spirit, they can take the Valentina just to take away from YG. It's just that there's no really good ults for it to really steal. But sometimes as a Valentina is not that big of a deal. You just want to be able to pressure
ငါတို့စပြီးတော့ကက်စတာလို့တော့ဆိုဖုန်းတစ်လုံးနဲ့
because then there's no more dashing heroes.
ဟိုပါလေဖုန်းထဲမှာပဲ license နဲ့ software လေးနဲ့ဒီဖွင့်နေဒီတိုင်းပဲ work မပါဘဲနဲ့အတိုင်းကြီးပဲလေ catch တယ် work မရှိဘူး
but just so they could
ကျူတော့ဖုန်းတစ်လုံးနဲ့ကွာ game လေးဒီမှာပဲဆော့တယ် live ကလည်းဒါပဲတွေ့နေတော့
YG getting their hands on it. So that poses a question to YG instead. How do they match this?
လုံးချင်တဲ့စိတ်ရှိရင်
Belleric
ရအောင်လုပ်လိုက်ဖုန်းတော့ကောင်းကောင်းတစ်လုံးဝယ်လိုက်
A Lilia could have been an option, but I feel like it could just
Really
burst up really fast.
Like it's gonna be good.
Team Juice and who go over and
now an Arlie gets picked up as well as the I'm liking the adjustment that YG is picking up now. It's a good matchup in the gold lane. Possibly can burst down multiple members of YG. I don't team mate early game.
What do you guys feel about
ကဲတော့
these
ဘော
rounds?
မျိုးပေါ့အိမ်မှာ
I
ထား
think
တယ်
it's more equal
တိုင်
compared
ဝဲ
to
တွေပဲရှင်းပြီး training အနီးကဆိုရင်အိမ်မှာလေ့ကျင့်ကြတယ်
They have a lot of setups.
ကြည့်နေ
It's not
ကြ
like they're
တော့
gonna
တုံးကြရင်
wait for Spirit to start it every
ဘ
single
လို့ပြ
time.
Claude back in the marksman position for Sanji against now a Clint, and it's going to be Ying on that armor, which we saw so effective in the Selena.
အဟုတ်မျိုးပြီးလေတော့
Through, and
ဘာလဲ
there's
တတ်တော့
my daughter, Aria, my baby. She made it here.
ကုန်းပါလေသူများကြီးလို iPhone အကောင်းစားရင်ဒါနဲ့
and get us started here in our grand finals.
တေးရုပ်ဖုန်းနဲ့
So sorry, Rain Day. I don't know if your daughter needs to watch this next game here because it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. It might be above the age limit for this one because we are expecting an absolute brawl. Roaming supports here.
ဘောဒီရမို့ဒီလိုက် streaming နဲ့ပတ်သက်လို့ရှိရင်အဲ့လိုကန်ကောင်းတက်တာကန်ကောင်းတက်တယ်ဆိုတာအဲ့လိုဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲဟိုစပွန်ဆာကန်ကောင်းတက်တယ်
and eventually that cleanse is going to be a bigger problem. Absolutely.
ဒါပေမဲ့လူကပတ်စံရှိလို့ထားလို့လာမဟုတ်ပါဘူး
right against this composition you need to win
အခုတော့အပြင်မှာသူများဝင်နေလို့မရလေသူများလိုကိုယ်မှကိုယ်နေလိုက်စင်းတစ်ခုလည်းအာရုံစိုက်ပြီးလုံနိုင်တဲ့အခြေအနေမဟုတ်ဘူးလေ
a complete monopoly up top
ကိုယ်အပြင်မှာလည်းအလုပ်လုပ်ပါသေးတယ်
it is and that's the thing we're going to see how
ဒီလောက်ကဒီတိုင်းဝါသနာပါလို့လုပ်
there's also counterplay to a lot of the different problems that we're going to experience if you look at the emblems at least looks pretty standard all the way through season hunter at least
ကောင်းပါပြီရောင်ရေး
achieved here as Kai's fine
စာပိုင်းအားလီပိုင်းမှာခဏတော့ပွဲလေးစပြီးတော့ねအာရုံစိုက်လိုက်မယ်
what we're expecting right this is why I was talking about the support so often
ကျွန်တော်ပူစီပြီး level လေးကို
people who can walk up and do what they can do but Blink is a lot more expendable in comparison to Sawa because they need that wrath of the
ပွဲလေးနဲ့အာရုံစိုက်လိုက်မယ်နော်
that's the tempo we were talking about though yeah
ဝန်ကြီးဘောကတော့ဒီဟိုဂိုးလိန်နာတော့ကလင်ကလောက်ဒီပဲပြန်ထုတ်ထားပါနော်တစ်ဖက်ကတော့ကလင်နဲ့
You're going to really have to wait for that wrath to dry like you mentioned Gideon and for
ဘယ်လိုလဲတကောင်တော့ရထားသေးတယ်အဲ့တော့ network တွေကစာပိုင်းမှာအရင်မနှိမ့်တော့ဘူးပြောလင်းတယ်ခုနကတော့ဒီငါတို့အားလီမှာတော်တော်နှိမ့်သွားတယ်ဆိုတာအားရောပေါ်လာမှလည်းတော့တိုင်ပတ်နေပြီအားလုံး
This is how they get back into that
ဘက်ကလေးတော့ချက်ကြည့်ပြီးမှရမယ်
Sawo got picked off yep it looks like they're not going to be able to contest
ဂလူးတော့ပေါ်တက်သွားပြီ
first turtle here it's going to
ဟာလီတွေ့လားဟာလီကအဲ့လိုပုံမှန်အားဖြင့်ဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲလိမ့်ပတ်တာလို့ပါလို့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဟော enemy အတင်းကိုအဲ့လို pressure ပေးလို့ကောင်းတယ်လိမ့်နေလို့နော်လိမ့်နေကို pressure ပေးလို့ကောင်းတယ်ခုနကတော့ဆိုရင်အားလုံးကိုတွားပြီးတော့လုတ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒီကောင်မတီးဘူးဆိုပေမဲ့ပြန်ဖက်လိုက်ရတယ်တချို့ခွေတွေကိုလွတ်သွားတယ်ပေါ့နော်ပေးလိုက်တယ်ပေါ့အဲ့ဒီရနဲ့ပတ်စံနဲ့နည်းနည်းလေးခုနလိုင်းကြောင်ဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့လိုပဲဖြစ်နေကြပြီတက်ကပုံစံနဲ့အဲ့မို့ဒီနေ့ကဒီပွဲလေးကိုပြီးရည်ကြည့်နေတယ်လို့စိတ်ကူးတာဘာလို့ငါလည်းသိနေတာပေါ့ဘယ်လိုဖလားရောက်သွားလဲချန်ပီယံဘယ်လိုဖြစ်မလဲသိနေအရမကပြန်တက်လာတော့အခုကမီးလည်းပြက်
So now with the off tempo play they steal it away great decision coming in from TS
ပါဝါစီရင်လေးအားရှိတဲ့လောက်ပေါ့
right as we go back to the neutral states you can see that even Kid
အားကြီးလောက်လိုက်စင်းတယ်ဘာနဲ့ပွဲလုံးမမီလို့လည်းမမီလို့ပေါ့ကွာပဲတဲ့နဲ့
purposefully showing himself
မြန်မာပြည်မှာဖြစ်နေတော့လေ
right now dude and they're able to whoa
ဒီပွဲဝန်ကြီးအာလီပွဲထွက်သွားတဲ့အနေထားတိုးတော့မတိုးဘူးပေါ့နော်
right you're not going to take the place into it
second တာတယ်တော့ရမှာတော့ဖြစ်မယ်မဟုတ်ရင်ခုနကပွဲလို့ပဲတာတယ်3အောင်စရိုက်ပေးလိုက်ရပြီးတော့တော်တော်ကြီးနေပါလေဘယ်လိုဒီတိုင်းပါပါလဲ
but even so at least with the battle spell Sanji understands that he's got the purify to work with I just don't know how this lane is going to go for him he's playing
လိုက်ကြဝိုင်းပြန်တက်လာမှာပြီးရင်ပါဝါစီချင်းအားမရှိတော့ပြောမယ်လေအခုကတော့ရှိရအားပြည့်အားပြည့်ပဲဆို
starts to dominate
the match.
And how they're able to actually just gain control of the map when nothing is happening is I think they're the best team. There's nothing happening on the map. They are so good at maximizing all these small little trades on the map. Bomb is getting a trade over on Kaiser, giving Sunset Lover more pressure in the lane and stopping Kaiser from putting the strap down. It's just such a small win, but it feels that that's why Team Spirit now, even though they're down kill, are the ones up in tempo, in map pressure and everything. Because by the time the turtle actually spawns, Kid Balma in about roughly 6 or 7 seconds after the spawn, he's going to get his ult. He understands that. You can see that Ying, as soon as the forcefully clear this way, we trade ults again. We're going to come back down to the turtle. And I think that's going to be what TS is now. I think they want to extend their lead.
I don't know I love a point and the good guy who out his saying like what?
It's a proxy up top now that they go.
Who are going to go away? Put the Paga Harley, the man, the Wamshiro, that the little Yawadi, going to go to me. Hello, but the real way you said, oh, winning, ကောင်းသွားပြီတွေ့လားဒီတက်တဲ့အရေးပါတယ်ဒီတက်တဲ့ဦးငါတို့ကယာလေးရသွားတယ်ပြီးတော့ဒီကေးလေးရသွားတယ်ဆိုတော့ခုနကတော့ကြာထားတယ်နောက်ဘောလေးပြန်ရသွားတယ်တပတ်တင်းရဲ့နောက်ဘောကတော့နည်းနည်းတော့ပိုပြီးတာနေမှာပဲဘာဖြစ်လို့ဆိုတော့ဟာလီနဲ့ဖြစ်နေတော့ဟာလီတော့ဦးရဲ့ပွဲပြတာနေမှာကြည့်ပါဦးကလော်ဒီဝင်သွားတာမှန်ပါလေဒီတကောင်လေးကိုတက်တက်ထားပြီးတော့အဓိကဖြတ်လိုက်တာကောင်းပါတယ်ဘာလို့အဲ့ဘယ်လိုရှိနေတယ်များတောက်လျှောက်ကနောက်ဝက်ကောင်ကိုဖြတ်လို့မရဘူးပေါ့ခက်ခဲနေပါအဲ့ဒီကောင်ပြီးသွားလို့ asma လည်း easily တက်လို့ရတယ်ခေတာမရှိဟုတ်တော့ဘယ်လိုရပါ့ရေးကြီးလဲဆိုတော့တန်းကရေးမပိုင်ဘူးပေါ့ဒီကောင် vision လိုက်ပြနေတာဒီတော့မှခွေးတော့ကလေး
That's got to be frustrating.
ဒီလားအဲ့တန်းက vision လိုက်ပြတာ vision လိုက်ပြတော့ 1G နေရဒီ position ကောင်းကောင်းယူလို့မရအောင်ဟိုကောင်လိုက်နှောက်တာကွာဒီကောင်မရှိတော့ဘူးဆိုရင်ငါတို့ဒီချုံ vision တွေအဲ့ဒါတွေမရှိတော့ဘူးပြီးတော့ဒီကောင် AD ကိုကြောက်စရာမလိုတော့ဘူးဒီကောင် AD က AOE ပါအခုကြီးလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်ဒီ enemy အတင်းမှာ AOE အကြီးဆုံးပေါ့နော်ဟိုတတင်းလုံး AOE ထိနိုင်ကြီးရဒီကောင်တော့မဲပါတော့တော့စပယ်အကြီးကိုထိန်းနိုင်ရတယ်ဒီစိတ်တဲ့ 1G ရဲ့ဒီစိတ်ပါဒီပွဲကပိုကောင်းတယ်ဆိုတာ 1G ကလိုအပ်နေတဲ့ဟာတွေကိုဟိုဖြစ်လိုက်တာပြန်ပြင်ဆင်ပြီးတော့ထွက်လာတဲ့သဘောပေါ့အဲ့လိုဖြစ်သွားဟုတ်တော့ခုနကတော့ဆိုရင်ဒီ AC နဲ့ lane ကို UA နဲ့သွားတယ်ကွာအခုကတော့အားလုံးနဲ့ပြန်သွားတာဆိုတော့ပိုတာသွားတယ်တာတယ်ပဲလေးလာ join ပြီးလို့ရတယ်ပြီးတော့သူ့ရဲ့ AOE ဒီပဲတော်တော်လုပ်တယ်ပြန်ပါ UA နဲ့ပို့ပြီးလောက်ကထွက်တယ်ကွာ UA နဲ့အဲ့လိုမတက်နဲ့ပဲvision လိုက်ပြလိုက်နှောက်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့လောက်ပဲအဆင်ပြေတာအခုကြည့်လေအားလုံးဆိုရင်ဘယ်တော့ဖွင့်လို့ရှိရင်သူ့ပါရင်ဝင်ပြီးတာဘလူးပြီးရင်သူပဲဟာလေးနောက်ကနေပြီးအဒီတော့ပေးတာဟေးအောင်ရေးဘယ်လိုလဲအဒီကလှသွားတယ်ဂိမ်းပြီးတော့တော်တော်ဝင်သွားတယ်ကွာဒါပေမဲ့ကိစ္စတော့မရှိနောက်မှာကလောက်ဒီရှိသေးတယ်ရသေးတယ်ပြဿနာမရှိသေးဘူးဟိုဘက်မှာ glue တစ်ကောင်တော့ဖမ်းပြီးတော့ချိန်ထားပြီးတယ်ကလင်းနဲ့အာယုံတော့အောက်မှာဟိုဘက်ဘယ်ကိုပြလို့မစွမ်းဝင်သွားပြီ okay ကလင်းရတော့ပြတ်သွားပြီအချိန်ကြီးတော်တော်ကောင်းပါပြီသလားဘာလို့တစ်ဖက်အတင်းကအရေးကြီးတဲ့ကောင်တေသွားပြီးသွားရင်ပြီးပြီကျန်တာကငါ့ကိုကြိုက်တာလို့ကျန်တဲ့ကောင်တွေကဘာမှမဟုတ်ခုနတော့ဆိုရင်ဟာလေဒီအဒီတွေလာပေးပြီးတော့တုံးပြီးသွားပြီဆိုဒီကောင်ဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရဘူးတော့သူလိမ့်သွားရှင်းအဒီကဘယ်လိုလဲကြည့်ရအောင်ဘယ်လိုလဲတေသွားရင်ကျန်တဲ့ကောင်ကကြိုက်တဲ့ကောင်တက်လို့ရတယ်နောက်တစ်ခုကခုနကထိန်းသွားတာဆိုရင် glue ကတော်တော်ကောင်းတယ်
TS, it's about peeling, and even so, they don't have the correct answers, right? I don't
think
they or Zara Eagles or Sunset Love one getting pulled. Yangon, they're trying to keep it tricky. Blink getting on top of Sawo in unfortunately, where do you pull him to?
Walk up again. Wajib fan rồi, wajib là áp bị à? Không nè, hiểu, chỉ quay wajib quay về. Cái gì này rồi? Wajib quay về. Bây giờ con nào rồi tôi mau qua đây thì dưới này tuyệt vời đó. Cái gì là dưới này bị giao mi ngoài nào bay mà. Alo tuyệt vời. Cái emပြောရင်ဟိုတက်တယ်ခုနတော့တက်တယ်ပဲမှာဆိုငါတို့ဘက်တစ်ကောင်ချင်းပေးရတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ကိစ္စမရှိဘူးတစ်ဖက်တင်းက AD အကြီးပြီးသွားရင်ပြီးပြီရောနေဘာမှဆက်လုပ်လို့မရဘူးတလီနာလှမ်းပြီးတော့စတန်နာပေးတယ်ဟောနေအောင်ဘာမှဆက်မဖြစ်သေးဘူးဆက်ဖြစ်တော့ဒီသုံးကောင်နဲ့တော့ damage ကမလောက်ဘယ်လိုရဖြစ်ဘူး
Sanji also now realizing he can't waste any more time as much as we
အဓိကနောက်လုပ်ရမှာအဲ့ Claudio space ပေးရ
dragging out games but they are so good at being efficient with their time. Yangon are starting to pick up steam at this stage of the game. First time already complete from
finally get to on Peggy get to on Korea no by that you are so
both sides they really want
analyze load the love
trying to play on the other side of the map
reacting to YG really well. Sanji using the BMI, the deadly magic does land in the end. Now is Hans going to be isolated from the rest of the team.
Oh ne ki sam ji alo win mu lo ကြိုးစားနေသေးတယ် Oh တကောင်ပဲထိသွားတာဟိုကောင်ကန်ကောင်းသွားတာဒါပေမဲ့ရသေးတယ်နော်ဆက်လိုက်လို့ရသေးတယ်
is able to escape
and tower ရှိတော့မလုံးနဲ့ tower ရှိတော့မလုံးနဲ့
to rotate straight into the neutral objective. Oh, the red herring here. Ying. showing that final slash to Kid Bomba as if he
တော်ရှိမှာအတင်းလုပ်ပြီးတေသွားတဲ့ဆိုင်ဒီလော့ဘက်တွေပြေးလာလိုက်တာတော်တော်ကြီးမှန်တယ်ဟော decision ကတော်တော်ကောင်းတယ်
try and delay with the wrath of the Dryads, but this is first lord.
ဂလူးတောက်လျှောက်တွေ vision တွေပြပြီးတော့လိုက်ပြီးတော့အာရုံတော့နှောင်ထားသေးတယ်လောကတော့ဒီ3ရုပ်ရှိုးတော့ကြာသွားပြီဖြစ်အောင်ဒါရယ်နော်ဘောသွေးလဲရှိုးလာအောင်တီးလို့ရသေးတယ်ဘာလို့ဆလီနာညားတဲ့ဘက်ကိုလည်းကြည့်အောင်ဟဲ့လား
Honestly, not a bad idea for Bomba to actually absorb
Vision
the
tawa
arrow
bi ba.
predestined to fight, knowing that Sunset Lover is coming back up and he has that purify, because you can see that Yangon, they want to react to this.
အပြီးသွားဟာလီပါအဲ့ဒီပြီးသွားအဲ့တော့ဘယ်လိုရဲ့ဒီအဲ့ဒီတစ်ပေါက်ပဲကြည့်ရမယ်ဒီကောင် flick ကအဲ့ဒီကိုပဲချက်တတိထားပါတော့ကြက်တယ်ဟုတ်တယ်ဒီပွဲလေး
Yeah, no, it's so true, because again, they don't have the sustainability.
ခောက်ဆွဲရပဲပြောက်တယ်
This is a crazy lord dance blink.
ကဲဆိုကဲဆိုမှာမဟုတ်ဘူးเนาะဒီတိုင်းပဲကိုယ့်အမြင်ရ analyze လုပ်ပါ
Purify for another 48 seconds.
ကဲဆိုင်လို့တော့အဲ့လို
And Sour's too far.
ကောင်းတယ်ရောင်ကြီးတောင်းကြည့်ချက်တည်းဆိုယူဂျူလေးကလည်းလှောက်သွားတယ်မရတော့အဲ့ကောင်တင်ပြီးပြီးသွားပြီရဲအဲ့ဒီလည်းပေးလိုက်ပြီးတော့ဆင်ပြေသွားပြီကြိုက်တာလည်းဟောမီးသေးတယ်ရောင်ကြီးဒီသေးပဲကောင်းသွားပြီ shit
And he's able to buy some time now. Up top, it was Blink who got the solo against.
ဘာကြီးပွဲဒီပွဲက
My goodness.
မားလို့ပြင်ဆင်ပြီးချက်ချင်းပြန်ထွက်လာတယ်ဟလား
Yangon now looking for some revenge after game number 1. Fine, technical prowess you can take, but we know how to fight. And
လင်းလင်းကိုရှိကိုခွာဖို့ကြိုးစားနေတာ sorry ဘာကြီးပွဲလေးကောင်းလို့တော့လာတာ
slash into the arrow. And Sanji picks up.
မရတော့ဘူးဘာလို့ဆိုတော့ဒီအာလီမိုဘိုင်းလဂျန်ကဒီအာလီအရေးပါတယ်တိလား
from Yangon that they are not going to lose confidence just
Ali
because they
Yeji.
dropped a singular game because they weren't able to fight. Now,
Ali was
because denied of that fight, they're getting extra messy. They're going to
Sorry,
reach
sorry.
further than what TS expected. Can they
တိ
actually
လား
get
အာ
the
လီ
ball? They
ရေး
don't
ပါတ
have
ယ်အာလီ
minutes.
အဲ့ဗတဲ့
Cleared out just in
ဟွာ
time by Team
လိ
Spirit.
တ်ပဲတယ်ပေါ့နော်နှစ်ကောင်သုံးကောင်တော့ရေးပါတယ်
Was YG
အားလုံး
without
ပြင်မှ
the
တည်တာ
Lord. They
ဟုတ်
got
တယ်
the Lord, but they chose to just push in forward.
အဲ့တော့ YG ကဒီပထမဆုံးပွဲကတင်းစပ်ရဲ့ကစားပေါက်ကိုတစ်ချက်ကြည့်ပြီးချက်ကြည့်ရမှာပေါ့နော်နှစ်ဖက်စလုံးကတော့အဲ့လို
As much as they want to
ဘာမှမသိဘူးအစင်းပေးရတာပေါ့
flickers coming up in 45 seconds.
ပွဲလေးရောက်တော့မှအစင်းပေးရတဲ့ပုံမျိုးဖြစ်သွားတော့
to delay this.
ဖြစ်
They
တတ်ပါ
might
တယ်
have to sacrifice.
ခုနကတော့အဲ့လိုယူရင်းနဲ့စားလို့ချင်းဒီအားလုံး
Seems like they're gonna have to sacrifice
Pero
the top
look what
side, man.
happened.
They're not even gonna be sending all their members there. Protecting
Tiro pe
firmly
pare.
to the bottom lane. I think it's a wise decision.
သူ့ဘေးကွာတော့ကနေခုနကပွဲရ cloudy နဲ့ဒီပွဲရ cloudy နဲ့မတူတော့ဘူးတဲ့လားဒီပွဲ cloudy ဆိုရင်ခုနကတော့
12 minutes.
ဟို2-1နေပါအဲ့ဒီနဲ့ဝင်ချပါတယ်ပါတယ်ဒီလိုက
has been Kaisers as well as Ying.
ခုနပွဲတော့ဆို၄កောင်ကြားတဲ့ဝင်သွားလဲဘာမှမရလိုက်ဘူးပေါ့နော်
Almost
Alam mo
immortalization.
yun.
Sanji
Di
with
ka
the
Ali
ultimate,
ba?
using it and able to find a turret in
Ali
the mid lane. So
တာတဲ့
that's
နှစ်
two
ကောင်လုံးက
with
ရေး
the
ပါတ
first
ယ်
lord.
တယောက်တစ်ကောင်လုံးယူခိုင်းနိုင်တော့အကောင်းဆုံးပေါ့ခုနကတော့ကျွန်တော်နှစ်ကောင်စရိုက်ကြီးပေးလိုက်တတိယကောင်ကျတော့ချမယ်ဆိုအိုက်တန်အဆင်မပြေတော့အဲ့လိုပေါ့
If you actually get access to the rest of the abilities like the arrow, like the traps, so they've been
အခုဆိုရင်ကတင်းစပရစ်ကဘတ်ပြဖို့တော့နိုင်နိုင်ဖြစ်သွားပြီ
Yangon
ပြန်အဲ့တော့ဒီကောင်လေးကမ်ဘက်ဖို့ဆိုတာမလွယ်တော့ဘူးဝမ်ဂျီဘက်ကအမှားမလို့ကိုပဲရေးကြည့်တာဒီလော့ဘတဲ့ဆိုင်တဲ့အချိန်မှာဘယ်လ်ရီရဲ့ဒီ flicker edit တဘောကိုတည်ထားနိုင်တယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့အဆင်ပြေ
Looking at the arms, Chastised Pauldron finally done.
ဒီကောင်စပယ်အကြီးနဲ့ဆိုတာဒီကောင်တဘောကိုခံနိုင်ရှိပြီးပြီးအားလေးဆိုဘာမှမဟုတ်
Looks like he's building up to the Guardian helm as well.
အားလေးအဒီဘာညာကိုကြောက်ရမလို့
They've got the burst. However, down by the
They
bottom
fight
side,
giant,
we look at
Hamo,
Hiko. He's got 3 items too. But those positions are really difficult, especially when Blink has
ဆိုတော့
flicker.
ဒီပွဲမှာဟာလီက performance တိတ်မထွက်သွားမထွက်တာလည်းပါတယ်ပေါ့နော်
Now it gets even
သူအပေါ်လိမ့်ုံပတ်တယ်အားလုံးကိုတက်ဖို့တော့ကြိုးစားတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့မရလိုက်ဘူး
He has a winner crown.
တာဝန်နာနေပဲပြန်ပတ်လိုက်တယ်
Already
ပေါ့
has
နော်
that Melfic gun is
အဲ့
scaled past
နေ
like
ရာ
a
လေး
lot
လ
of
ည်း
team
ကောင်းတယ်
spirits
သူ့အတွက်အ
already
ချိန်
gone.
waste ဖြစ်သွားပြီးတော့
It will
AC
really
ရဲ့နေ
take
ဂိုးတွေဆုံးရှုံး
YG
သွားတယ်ပေါ့နော်
to make some mistakes.
အဲ့ချိန်မှာငါတို့ဘက်က hyper
Able to
လို့လို့
actually look for an angle to come
သူ
back
ကြီးလိုက်
here.
စားပြီး
I
တော့
think
လို့လို့
the worst possible scenarios is
he
the
ran
GNCC
damage power.
off of the Wrath of the Dryads. That's one.
Should
The
put
second
that
dangerous
one.
one is getting hit by 2 shadow strikes from Sunset Lover and getting terrified. I think that's also probably the worst case scenario. Oh,
ဒီပွဲပစ်လေးကတော့သဘောကျဖို့ကောင်းတယ်ဘာလို့ဆယ်လီနာပါနေတာဖြစ်တဲ့အတွက် enemy vision တွေကိုလည်းခုနကတော့ဆိုရင်လောမချခင်ကလေးက
so good. The Wishing Lion
Oh,
are getting some
kid
really
out.
good
Vision
poke here
draw
as they're
များ
looking
ယူတာ
to contest the angles from
အတား
both
ကြီးဆိုင်တယ်
sides.
Whoa, Sunset Lover in the mid lane as well. That bottom lane is looking.
တစ်ချက်သတိထားမယ်ဟာလေးကဒီအားလုံးကိုဝင်ဖြတ်တဲ့တကွက်တော်ရှိ
correct this in time. I don't think they can, and I think YG should start actually taking the space, but Sanji just used his BM.
โอเคလောကတော့ထဲပြန်ဝင်ပြီးတော့တွေးတော့ပြန်ပြေးသွားပြီဘယ်လရစ်ချောင်းတော့ချောင်းနေပြီငါတို့လုံးလုံးပြီဆိုတာနဲ့ဘယ်လရစ်ကဟိုဖလစ်ကာအဲ့ဒီတုံးကိုလိုက်ကြည့်အဲ့ကောင်ပဲတတိထားပါ
Now they just have to sit dance for a little bit.
โอเคဂလူးကတော့အပေါ်ကနေတောက်လျှောက်ပြီးရှင်းနေလိုက်တော့ပြနေပြီ
to be had, right? Level 15 to level 15. As much as they have eye
လွယ်နေတော့မပေးဘူး
Zara's retribution, if well timed, could steal this.
ဒါပေမဲ့တစ်ခုရှိတာအချိန်ကြာလာလို့ရှိရင်တော့ဒီမီဂါခရီးရဲ့ advantage နဲ့ပဲငါတို့ဒီတော့ယူဖို့ဆိုစူးစမ်းမှာပဲအားလုံးတွေးတော့ကိုင်းဝိုင်းပြေးတက်လာပြီဆိုရင်အော်တော်သေးတယ်ကိုဖြုတ်ပြီးတော့ငါခုံလာတော့မယ်ထင်နေတာ
at the bottom lane that was
so
lucky for YG. They didn't build it in time, and now it's building back for Team Spirit. Slow push, and Han cannot go down.
It turned from
now
a defensive assault, and TS now whole priority here. Yangon, you have a 5.7k lead, and yet they still can't get close to this Lord. Not without traded out. And TS, they're for days, and now they see Blink.
Saul. He knows it's a tendency of Blink. He studied Blink's gameplay.
တလီနိုင်ညားတစ်ချောင်းပဲအရင်တော့ထိမလားဘယ်လိုကပဲအရင်ဖမ်းမလား ချက်ကြည့်ရ
masterclass.
Oh, and now the Guardian Helm is not so sour. Can walk off, take some damage, walk away from the fight, and come back in.
တွေ့လားမြေပုံမှာဟီရိုကအောက်ရောက်သွားပေါ်ရတယ်ဟိုကောင်ကတိုင်းပြီးကျုံးတာဝင်သွားပြီအားလို့ဘယ်လိုရဲအဒီတော့မတုံးရသေးဘူးသူရောတော်တော်ကိုင်းနေပြီအဒီရှားသေးတယ်လက်ရယူရသေးတယ်အကုန်ရှော့အိုးဖောင်းလိုက်တော့ကွာဟိရောက်ရေးလုံးကွက်တယ်ရောက်ရေးနောက်မှဟီရိုကောက်ဖို့ကလည်းအားလုံးနဲ့ဒီစလီနာနဲ့လည်းတော်တော်လုတ်တာကောင်းပါပြီငါမပြောဘူးလား
Oh my goodness, this is what we were looking for. A 16 to 2 Non-Galacticos statements. We don't care what the world thinks of us. We brought it to 1-1. No confidence lost.
And what a way to start. Possibly
ပွဲတပွဲလေးနဲ့ကွာသူတို့အမောက်သူတို့ချက်ချင်းတည်တယ်
Nobody predicted these two teams to be up here.
သူတို့အမောက်သူတို့ချက်ချင်းတည်တယ်ဒီလားပထမဆုံးပွဲပြီးသွားတယ်သူတို့ပထမပွဲကဟီရိုပိတ်ကိုသွားရှိုးလိုက်ယူရင်းနဲ့လောက်ကမထွက်ဘူးဗီရှင်နေပြလို့မရဘူးသူဘာလို့ဗီရှင်ပြလို့မရလဲဆိုတော့ယူရင်းနဲ့ကမာရဲဆိုမဲ့တွေးကိုသူကဟိုက
There's one thing that Yangon
ဘယ်လိုလုပ်မလဲအုံတိုင်းပြန်တက်တာမျိုးမဟုတ်ဘူးတစ်ဖက်အသင်းမှာကျတော့ဥရိုရာပါတယ်ဥရိုရာနဲ့အဲ့လို instant ဖြတ်တာပေါ့နော်ယူရင်းနဲ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးချက်ချင်းပြတ်သွားတာ
unless they start correcting this draft. I know that he didn't want to give
ဒီဗဒဲမှာဆိုလဲကြည့်လိုက်အားလုံးအရင်ပေးလိုက်ရနော်ဒါပေမဲ့ဗဒဲကပြန်ဆိုင်လို့ရတယ်ဘာလို့လဲဘယ်လိုရဲ့ AD မရှိတော့ဘူးပြီးတော့ဒီကောင်မရှိတော့အဲ့ကောင်တိတ်ပြီးသွားတယ်ငါတို့တော့တာပါဘယ်လိုလုပ်သေးတာနဲ့ကျန်တဲ့ကောင်တွေက easy နှိုက်လို့ရတယ်ဒီဗဒဲလည်းအဲ့တိုင်းပဲပြလားအဲ့ကောင်မရှိတော့ဆိုတာပြီးပြီငါတို့ဘာမှကြည့်နေကြမလို့ဒီနောက်ဆုံးလောဘထဲမှာကြာနေတယ်ဆိုတာဘယ်လိုရက်ကအဲ့ဒီအကြီးကိုကင်ပြီးတော့လုံးဝမပေးဘဲနဲ့သူကလော့လို့ချင်တာ
Oh man, we are running out of resources.
နောက်နေအဲ့ဒီပေးပြီးသွားရင်တို့အဲ့ကောင်ကြီးတွေးအများကြီးကြတယ်ရှောက်ပြေးနေတော့ပဲဒါသူတင်းလေးကိုသူပြင်ပြလို့မရတော့ဘူးဘာမှလုပ်လို့မရတော့ဘူးသူနောက်မှာဟို damage ပေးမဲ့ကောင်တွေကိုသူကာဗာပေးလို့မရတော့အစမာတို့ဟာလီတို့ clean လို့ဆိုတာတကယ်တမ်းလုပ်ရင်ဘယ်တော့မှမလုပ်ပါဘူး
of Team Spirit, Yangon Galacticos even things up in the 1-1 as our best of 7 turns into a best of 5 right day.
Glue ယူလိုက်တာတော်တော်ကောင်းသွားတယ်ပေါ့နော်
down that Arlet from
ဟုတ်တော့
they changed the strategy, they take away the Takedo, they take away all of the options that we've seen be so successful. The Barats for Kid
4-1 the bomb မျိုး glue ကခွဲဆော့တယ်ကွာပြီးတော့ဒီကောင်က vision လိုက်ပြတယ်ဟောမေဂိန်းတို့ကဘယ်လေတစ်ခုမှဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အောက်လမ်းမှာ glue ကသွားပြီးတော့ clean နဲ့ဟိုဘက်က mesh နဲ့ဟိုသွားပြီးထိန်းထားပြီးတယ်ဟုတ်ခွာစီပြီးတော့တရားမှာအဲ့မှာအဲ့နှစ်ကောင်ကတိုင်ပတ်နေချိန်မှာငါတို့ဒီဘက်မှာဟို4-3အုပ်လိုက်ဆိုလို့ဖြစ်သွားတာပေါ့နော်ဒါက Team Spirit ရဲ့အမှားတွေပေါ့အမှန်တမ်းပြောလို့ရှိရင် YG တက်ဆိုင် Team Spirit ဘက်ကနည်းနည်းပို့ပြီးပြတယ်လို့တော့မြင်မိတယ်တင်းနေသွားတဲ့ခါကြရင်ပေါ့နော်နေသွားတဲ့ခါကျရင် YG ကတိတ်မပြအောင် Team Spirit ကလည်းတို့တင်းနည်းနည်းနေသွားပြီဆိုတာနဲ့ပြတတ်တဲ့သဘောရှိတယ်Hello တဲ့မင်္ဂလာပါ 啊，邱定
This
忠，
is what we
明白吧
wanted from Yangon.
？Facebook ကပေါ်လာလဲမင်္ဂလာပါ နော်
This is the
ခုန
aggressive we want
ဗ
to
တ်တယ်
see.
ထဲမှာ
It
ဆို
started out with Harara
Hello.
as the conversation
MLBB
against
မှာ
Sterling
ခေါ်မိ
has
လိုက်
dropped
ပါ
down,
လား
but Harara, I mentioned the iframes. I
Bro,
thought
they
that
may only
that
mean lava.
program, when you look at Kaize, could have gotten several kills, wasn't able to do it, but that might have just been the hero. And taking the
Hero
hero
pit
now
ba,
into the hands of Han, what can Zhao Egoist do? We talk about the implications of damage from Harley, but you still now have Kaize back on the
အဓိကဟာလီဖီးရွာလည်းပါတယ်ကွာသူ performance တိတ်မထွက်ဘူးပေါ့နော် ဟာလီဖီးဆိုတာဒီအာလီမှာကွာသူ့ရဲ့တောင်းကသူက
Honestly, when we look at his stats, the one that
အဲ
you look at is actually
အဒီမြင်ရအောင်စောပြီးသွားတာနဲ့သူဒီ site lane ကိုတော့ပတ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာ site lane hero လည်းမရလိုက်တဲ့အပြင်သူ့အတွက်အချိန်တော်တော် waste ဖြစ်သွားတယ်
is that aggression
ဝမ်ကြီးကကြောက်တော့ဗတ်တယ်ကိုကျင်းနေတဲ့ဒီ second title ကြာမှာအဲ့လိုဗတ်တယ်ကိုတေချာဆိုင်လိုက်တာပေါ့နော်
Yeah, I was honestly considering it even as
အဲ့ဒါမှန်သွားပါပေါ့အဓိကဝမ်ကြီး decision မှန်သွားတယ်ပါတယ်ဟိုဘက်ကအတင်းရဲ့အမှားနှစ်ချက်သုံးချက်လောက်လည်းတွေ့တယ်ပေါ့ ကောင်းပါတယ်ဒီဝမ်ကြီးဘက်ကဒီငငယ်ရွယ်နဲ့ကလေးဆိုပေမဲ့တော်တော်ကောင်းတယ် individual တစ်ဖက်တင်းနဲ့ဒီဘက်တင်းနဲ့အဲ့လောက်ကြီးကွာလာတယ်မဟုတ်ဘူးအဓိက hero pick နဲ့သူတို့ရဲ့ decision တွေကအရေးပါတယ်ဒီလားဟာလီလူမျိုးငါတို့ဒီ hero ရလည်းကွာအချိန်ဖြုံးပြီးတော့ site lane တွေကိုရှောက်သွားရှောက်ပတ်နေဆိုလို့ရှိရင်သူလဲဟာလီလူပဲ fail သွားမှာပဲကိုဒီဘက်ကအဲ့လို risk မယူတော့ပဲနဲ့သူ့ဘာလို့ quick စားရရှိရစားတယ်လုံးချက်ရှိရလုံးတယ်သူလုံးဝမဲ့တကယ် second target လို့ target ပေါ့နော်သူ target ကိုသူရအောင်လုပ်တယ်ပြီးတော့ low ball ထဲမှာလည်းသူရအောင် retreat ပေါက်တယ်အဲ့မှာပဲ 1G ကတော်တော်တာနေပြီ
So I'm going to be pretty quick for this one, but I feel like most of the MLBB community will agree with me on this one.
ဟို tablet cover ကြီးကတော်ပြီလားလို့
A lot of attention is
တုံးလိုက်ကြီး
in the jungle being like the primary mover of the map,
Do
main
ပြော
leader
လိုက်မယ်
and everything. But throughout this MSC rain day,
ငါ
I personally
တ
feel
ချင်း
like
နဲ့ဆိုတိုးတာ
the
တော့
biggest conversation is the front line, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in American football, the line has to be strong enough to either protect the pocket or create space for a good running play. And that's what we see here in MLBB, where in game number 1, we saw both Kip Bomba as well as Hiko really helping out whenever they do get these two heroes, right? The Paquito as well as the Barras. They're amazing playmakers, space creators as well. And with both of them out, it makes the game fair. And I think this is the first good step that Yangon really took.
ဒီ
But then we
YG
saw
ရဲ့
on this
first
arc
ban
as
hero
well as
နှစ်ကောင်
playing
ပေါ့နော်
on
အဲ့နှစ်
this
ကောင်က
blue.
ဒီ
I
သူတို့
really feel like for all
ငါတို့
the
ဘက်ချမ်း
games in this
hero
best
တွေ
of 7,
ဘယ်
who
လိုပြောလဲ
has
enemy ဘက်ကကွာ
playmaking
space
frontline
ပေးလို့ကောင်းတဲ့
the
Paquito
potential
နဲ့
of
ဒီ
winning is
Barret နဲ့
much
ဘန်
higher.
ထားတာ
So
ပေါ့
we're going to be looking that
ပြောတော့ဒီ
in the
Bellerin နဲ့
draft
ငါတို့ဘ
later
လို့
on.
ရဲ့
In terms of the clips here,
performance ကိုကြည့်မယ်
I
ဆို
would
လဲ
say
Bellerin က
this
အဲ့ဒီ
just
ထွက်ပြီး
shows
တော့သူတေချာ
when you
ဖိုင်း
have
နိုင်
a
ကောင်း
very
တယ်ဆို
strong
မှ
frontliner,
1G အဲ့လို
able
တေ
to
ချာ view
actually
design တွေကို
space
စော့နေတယ်
everyone out for the
ခရီး
opponent
ထားပြီး
taking
ကြ
it
ည့်
so
ကြည့်
that it's easier for your team to really contest the Lord.
Bellerin
Because
အဲ့ဒီ
as we
flick က
see
အဲ့ဒီ
here,
view
what we're
design
gonna
တွေကို
be
တေချာ
seeing is
စော့တာ
really
ဒီ
just the
လော့တေကန်
positions
ကြီးကြမှာလားသူတို့
all the
ဟို
members
လူစု
of
ဝင်
Team
တိုး
Spirit.
လိုက်တာကွာ
They're spread out. They want to make sure that they don't get caught, especially by Ying using the Arlet here. But in terms of that, you can see that what Team Spirit thought was going to happen was they're going to delay the Lord because they're trying to pick a fight, but that's not what happened. The moment they know that the Harley is nowhere close, they just contested for the Lord, burst it down, and they're able to do that. And
လော့
then
ယူတဲ့အ
afterwards,
ချိန်
we
မှာ
start
asthma
seeing
လည်း
whenever
ဝေး
the
နေ
team
ကွာ
fight starts
ဒီကောင်
happening, a lot happened
ခုံလို့မ
coming
ရ
in
ဘူးကွာ
from Ying as well as the glue. Because look
အဲ့
at
ဒီတွေပါလည်းမရှိ
this. Ying able to jump in using the minions. Using the
အဲ့
minions
နေရာ
to
ပြီး
dash
မယ်တော့မ
with
ထင်
the
ဘူး
with the vengeance and then catching
ကိုယ်တင်
Sunset
တာတည်း
Lover.
မှာ
You
ဘက်
can
လိုက်
see
မ
the
ယ်
mark
ပေါ့
is there so that
အဲ့
Ying
လိုပဲ
has
ထင်
an
တာပါ
advantage
လုံးဝ surprise ကြီးရ
going in. And this is why
ကျန်တဲ့လူတွေ
in
အ
the
ကုန်
draft
လုံး
now,
ရတယ်ဟိုနောက်ကြီး
who's
ပါ
the EXP?
တရား
Who's the rogue?
ဒါ
Is it
အ
a
မှန်တမ်း
fire
ပြောရင်
rogue?
သူတို့
If
ရဲ့
it
ဒီ
is, what
ပွဲထဲ
is
မှာ
gonna
တ
be
ကယ်
the
လက်ရှိ
advantage?
ရှိနေသူ
Because
တို့
who can
individual
create the
skill ပေါ့နော်
opportunities will win the
အဲ့လို
game.
မျိုး
I think that's
အဲ့ဒါ
what it's about, right? Blake? I
YG
mean,
ရဲ့
who
တူ
can
ချင်းတ
create
ယောက်ချင်း
more
မှာသူတို့ဘယ်လောက်
opportunities? This
ဒီ
game, it
တိုး
was
တက်တာ
more on Ying
တိုးတက်
than
လာ
it
တယ်
was
ဆို
Kid
တော့ပြ
Bomba.
Yeah, he had to live up to the
ကိုယ်လုံးဝမထင်တာငါတို့ဆိုလည်းမထင်ဘူး
Why? We thought it
ဖတ်
was
သွားမယ်ပဲထင်တာ
It's bad and good at the same time.
တေးမိတ်တုံးတော့ကျွန်တော်သိရမှာ
It's
ဟိုး
good.
အနောက်ကိုရောက်
I
နေတာ
hear
ကွာ
you say it too.
Yeah, because at this point, or at least in this game, yes, he did get taken down once, but it's not like that.
အဲ့
to
လို
really
ဝင်
matter.
ရင်း
It's
ပြီးတော့
his
ပေါ့နော်
presence who
ဒီ
feels like
enemy
he's
အဲ့ချိန်
someone
မှာ
you
နောက်တစ်
just
ကောင်ထပ်
could
တေးသွား
not
လေသူတို့
consider
တာဝါ
for
နှလုံး
pickups
သုံးလုံးက
at all,
easy
because
ရိုက်
he
လို့
had
ရ
a
တ
very
ယ်
high
ဆိုတော့
mobility
အဲ့လို
hero
ဝင်
again
ရ
with
င်း
the
လိုက်တယ်
Arlot with a vengeance.
ပြပါချက်ချင်း
And he was the guy
Midi
that
second,
you really
mà
had
ချက်
to
ချင်း
be
ဆုံးဖြတ်
wary
ချက်ချ
of
လို့
whenever
ချင်း
they
လို့
sensed
ပါ
that a team
အဲ့
fight was
ရှင်က
actually gonna break out. Because you could maybe look at Blink, but he's more
ဟိုလိုအသက်
there to
ကြီး
just
ဘာ
mess
လို့မ
things
ရောက်
up.
လဲ
He
ဆိုတော့အဲ့လို
already
မျိုးတွေမလုပ်
presents
နိုင်တော့
himself
လေ
there once the team fight has
ပလီယာတယောက်က
begun.
အသက်
He
ကြီး
has
လာ
been
ပြီ
the
ဆိုရင်
pace dictator at least for this game.
And
အုံနောက်
I
တွေက
just
လည်း
like the
လေးလာ
draft
တဲ့
in
လက်တွေက
general.
လေး
I
လာ
think the
အဲ့လို
response
မျိုး
was to deal
သုံး
with
ပြ
the
ချက်တိုင်းလူ
problems.
ငယ်
And
တွေက
obviously Paquito
Yeah,
early,
Paul.
but when you don't have the
I
Paquito,
love
you
him.
allow Sanji to be that much more effective and comfortable on the Claude that he wants to actually play. Guys, there's a lot that's occurred here. We're going to take a quick one, and in the meantime, check out Mobile Legends Adventure. On the flip side, we'll have Game 3.
အာဒီလုံးကြီးမလာနဲ့ဒီလုံးကြီးလာရင်ငါ့ကို copyright နဲ့ကျုံးသွားလိမ့်မယ်သူခုနကတပွဲတော့ဟိုကလာလို့လားကြော်ညာလာလို့လားငါမသိလိုက် sorry airline နေကြော်ညာမှာဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲဆိုတော့ဒီ Falcon တို့ဟိုကရှိပါသေးတယ်ဗာလေဟောDota 2မှာဆို Enigma Galaxy တို့ဆိုတာဒီ sorry ဘက်ကဟို sponsor ပေးတာသူတို့ထားတဲ့ camp တွေပိုင်းမြင်ဘူးလားsorry ပြန်ရောက်လို့ရှိရင်အနားယူဖို့ဟိုတယ်ခေါ်ရတာလို့ပါဟိုတယ်ကြီးကတော့မသိနန်းတော်ကြီးကြာရွှေရောင်ကြီးရွှေရောင်တစ်ဖက်ဖက်နဲ့သူစင်လူလောကနေဗံဘုံအဲ့ဒီမှာတဲခိုင်းတာသူစင်သူတို့ဒီဟာ sorry ဘောစီတွေနဲ့တွစ်ဆုံပွဲတို့ဘာတို့ဆိုသူတို့ဘောရုံကြီးကမသိနန်းတော်ကြီးကြာအားကြပါတယ်အဲ့လိုပလီယာတွေကိုဒီကိုယ်ပြိုင်ပွဲစော့တဲ့အချိန်တော့ပြိုင်ပွဲသွားတဲ့အချိန်တွေဆိုရင် line ကားတွေပါတိုးစီးရဟိုရောချွေးတလုံးလုံးနဲ့ပြိုင်ပွဲတွေစော့ရတာနော် online ကြီးရောက်သွားတော့လေဟိုခေတ်တွေကတိုးတက်လာတော့လေအဲ့လိုမျိုး
Right, the wonderful Kid Bomba, as you're saying, and wanted to ask you a couple questions here.
သူတို့ထားတဲ့အခန်းတွေ training room တွေ shade
how is Bomba as
liquid လည်းတည်တာ liquid camp ကြီးကနည်းနည်းနော်ကြီးမဟုတ်သူစင်
personality also in real life. Wie ist Bomba als Kind? Ist er immer so selbstbewusst als hier in MSC?
Ja,
ဟာ
war selbstbewusst
ဘာလဲကွာ
und ein fröhlicher Junge.
Yeah, he's
ဘာလဲကွာဘာလို့ line လက်
this is how he is. He is very confident and he's a very happy young man, and that's exactly what we're seeing here.
တို့တွေ့လားတို့လည်းစော့လို့ရှိရင်ပန်ကမှုတ်ရတာပဲအဲကုန်းဘလောက်အေးမရဘူးပန်ကတော့လိုအပ်တာပဲ
so positively, which is wonderful to see, especially given your support for Bomba as his mother. Do you have anything for kind of words of comfort for maybe parents out there that want to help their sons, their kids that want to become professional players? Reagiert so positiv auf deine Unterstützung für Kid Bomba als seine Mutter. Haben Sie eine Botschaft für Eltern, dass sie auch deren Kinder in E-Sports antreten wollen?
Ja, natürlich. Die sollen ihre Kinder einfach ihre Träume ermöglichen, freilassen.
Of course, it's very simple, really. Let your kids play out their dreams and help them, support them to actually make that happen. Danke auch. Thank you very much. Let's check in.
သူတို့လှုပ်ချင်တာကိုဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲလွတ်လွတ်လပ်လပ်နဲ့ပေးလုပ်လိုက်တယ်ပေါ့အဲ့မှာသူတာထုံးပေါက်သွားတယ်ပါညာပေါ့ကွာအဲ့တော့ဟိုဘက်ကလည်းခင်ဗျားတို့ခလေးတွေကိုလွတ်လပ်ခွင့်ပေးလိုက်ပါသူတို့အိမ်မက်တော့ကိုလိုက်ခွင့်ပေးလိုက်ပါလို့ပြောတာ
What can't he do?
အဲ့ဒါအဲ့အဒီလေးရဲ့မိ
Minion language.
That's what I said, Minionese.
Yeah, Minionese.
Only a few people.
How does that sound?
I promise by the next tournament.
ဟဲ့ရေးတင်းစပ်ပြီးတော့အားပေးခြင်းသွားပြီ
All right.
တစ္ဆာဖောက်လိုက်ရမလား
Yes.
What did you want to say?
ညီမလေးတို့ဖြတ်အားပေးလိုက်တယ်
I was just so happy to see that.
I mean, like,
ပွဲနားနေတဲ့အချိန်မှာတော့ညီမလေးတို့အားပေးရလား ပွဲစပြီဆိုတော့ YG ပဲ
I'm hoping you guys
The only
drop
thing,
it.
the only thing I could think of was
ညီမလေးတို့အားပေးတာတစ်ဖြတ်
as a fans club by now too.
You know,
Oh yeah, probably.
Because I
I
also
think
saw a
so.
signage already.
I think so, and you've seen Team Spirit gather
သူတို့
around
ဝိုင်းလေတာလား
so
BBN
well.
ဖြစ်တာလား
We've
မ
seen
သိဘူး
maybe the
BBN လိုင်း
analysis,
ဆန်း
the
နေတာ
technical
ဟာ
part with the
သိပါဘူး
team, but when it comes to the heart, it certainly feels like
Hi,
it
hi,
is
ma,
one of
bro,
the fans
Doji.
and everyone who is around
so
her,
ဟလာ
talking to
ဟို
her, rooting
ဟို
her
လို
on, supporting her through. You
Do-
should have seen
Doji
the
ပေါ့
emotion
အဲ့လိုလား
versus Onic yesterday.
မားဝိုင်း sorry နော် bro
Powerful.
sorry ပါ
And
hi
part
မာ
of the reason
brother
is that there's $1 million on the line. The winner of this, she could see her son suddenly enter the
တခုတော့ကြိုပြောထားပါမယ်
millionaires,
ကိုရီးယားကက်စရင်လို့လာတာမဟုတ်ပါဘူး
21 years old.
ဟိုဝဲလေးချက်ကက်စတာမဟုတ်ပါဘူးပတ်ကြီးကက်စတာပါ
And you're
ဒါပေမဲ့ဝါသနာပါလို့တကယ်ချင်းနဲ့အတူကြည့်ခြင်းလို့လိုက်ဆွင်းလေးလွှင့်ထားတာဆိုကြတချို့လူတွေရှိရလေ
Hear
Yeah.
back what you say? Yeah, I think you're
အား
correct.
လုံးဒီကောင်
Yeah, it's
ပွဲလဲမကတ်ဘူးသေးအောင်အားချောင်းနေတယ်လို့
Yes.
There you go.
right, right, Rain Day.
Yeah.
ကိုယ်မြင်တဲ့အမြင်ဘက်ကနေပဲ analyze လုပ်ပေးတဲ့သဘောလောက်နဲ့ကတ်စတာပါ
Next to
ဟုတ်ပါ
you
ဘူး
when you're doing something
ဟိုဟာ
important.
လိုက်ဆွင်းလွှင့်တာ
You know, I think that's just such a beautiful thing to see.
တကယ်ကတ်စတာရေလိုမျိုး
Team Spirit
အလုံးစုံသိရမှာအဲ့လိုကြီးသိမနေဘူးပြိုင်ပွဲဆိုတဲ့အနေထားနဲ့
Now it's game 3 guys, they're
အဲ့လို
bouncing back.
experience နဲ့
I
ဟိုဟာဖြစ်တာပေါ့နော် analyze လုပ်တာပေါ့
Support of doesn't
Hello,
matter
Baba.
families, friends,
ဘာ
or
ဝါသနာပါ
whatever.
လို့
In terms of going for your dream is very important because here's the thing.
BBN ကြောင့်မဟုတ်ဘူး
I think there's no
BBN
team in the world
ဟိုဟာ
that
ဒါ
doesn't
ဟိုဟာလေကွာ
require some kind of
ဗာ
sacrifice
လေ
that will make
YouTube
you
နဲ့ YouTube ကနေကြည်တာလေကွာ
scared about moving forward. It doesn't matter if the dream
Okay လောလောဆယ်ကတော့ဒီ free ရ virus
but
ဒီ
I
ပ
feel
ကူ
like
ရို
in
3
all
កောင်
years
လုံးဝမပေးတော့ဘူးပေါ့
everyone
နော်
that
ဘာလို့ဆိုတော့
told
ခု
me
န
their dreams
ရှေ့ပွဲမှာတော့လည်းငါပြောတယ်အဲ့ဒီ
you
UNS
without
ဖြစ်ဖြစ်ဘယ်ကောင်ပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်
sacrificing something,
virus က
physical, mental, or even
အဲ့ဒီ
spiritual.
မိသွားပြီဆိုတာနဲ့အဲ့ကောင်နေကောင်သွားပြီခုမှဆက်လုပ်တာလားဗျာဆိုတော့ဟိုအလောက်တော့ရှိပြီ brother
Nowadays,
Talaလောက်တော့
most of
ရှိပြီ
that sacrifice is not in front of us, guys. We see the
တလားလို့တော့ရှိပြီအရင်တော့ကျတော့ဒီပက်ဂျီကက်စတာပေါ့နော်ကက်စတာ H ပါ ပက်ဂျီကက်စတာ team C ရဲ့ Kela အတင်း founder intelligent team ရဲ့ပက်ဂျီ founder ပါ
It is a best of 5 now.
အခုကတော့တကယ်ချင်းတယောက်က
as our draft continues
ဟို
and
စပွန်ဆာပေးနေပြန်လုပ်ပါလားဆိုပြန်လုပ်ဖြစ်တာပါဝါသနာလည်းပါလို့
Spirit, it's Paquito, Baratza
ဝါသနာပါတော့ဟိုရင်ကလေးကပေါ့ငယ်ငယ်ကလေးကစော့တာပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးအခု live stream နေစာလုံးပြန်လုပ်ဖြစ်နေတာတစ်လလောက်ရှိပါပြီလူသိမရှိလို့ဟုတ်တယ်ပဲလူသိမရှိဘူး
Yeah, but I think Yaga are still very
လူသိမရှိဘူးဆိုတာခုနောက်ပိုင်းကျတော့အဲ့လိုအသက်ကြီးသွားတော့ရိုးရိုးတန်းတန်း
and securing
story game တို့တည်ရမှာ skill ပြတဲ့ stream မျိုးမဟုတ်တော့ဘူး
Sanji
တာမန် stream ဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲ entertainment stream မှာပဲသွားရပေါ့နော်သွားရဆိုတော့ကြိုက်တဲ့သူမှကြည့်မှာပေါ့
So that just in case
ပြီးတော့အရင်တော့အဲ့လိုမျိုးပက်ကြီး tournament တွေပါလည်းမလုပ်ပေးဖြစ်ဘူးဆိုတော့လူကတိတ်မရှိဘူးပေါ့နောက်ပိုင်းလုပ်ပေးဖို့ရှိရနော်အဲ့ဒါပက်ကြီးစော့တက်တဲ့သူတွေဆိုရင်ကျုပ်ပြောထားတာပါ
And I like this
အဲ
too. I think
screen တွေပြန်ထောင်ပေးဖို့ရှိရယ်
do you
ပြီးရင် tournament တွေလုပ်ပေးမဲ့ကိစ္စတွေရှိတယ်သူကြီးပေးမယ်ဝင်ကြီးမပေးရဘူး free
until the second
အ
phase?
ဓိကပက်ကြီးအသိန်းတော်တော်များများအရင်လိုပဲပြန်ပြီးတော့ပေါ်လာစီခြင်းတို့ပေါ့နော်
even Carmilla's
အရင်လိုပဲပြန် run ဖို့လုပ်နေပါတယ်လောလောဆယ်ကတော့
but this is
viewer နဲ့ကိုတည်တဲ့လူစောင့်နေတဲ့သဘောမျိုးနဲ့စောင့်နေတာပေါ့နော် live stream လေးလုပ်နေနဲ့ story game တွေစော့တယ်ညတိုင်းည7:00 9:00 ည8:00 ပတ်ဝန်းကျင်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့ပတ်ဝန်းကျင်တိုင်း live stream လွှင့်နေ Discord channel ထောင်ထားပြီးတယ်စကားတွေပြောလို့ရအောင်ကျွန်တော်လည်းစကားပြောလို့ရတယ် နောက်ပြီးရင် Facebook 2 page Facebook ကကြတော့2 page live stream လွှင့်နေ YouTube မှာလည်းရှိရယ် H Reborn Gaming ပဲ TikTok လည်းရှိတယ် TikTok ကကြတော့ short video လေးတင်တယ် TikTok live stream လုပ်ဖို့ရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ TikTok ရဲ့ VPN ကြတော့ဟိုမတူတော့လို့ VPN နောက်တစ်မျိုးတော့မလို့ဖြစ်နေလို့အဆင်မပြေလို့ live stream မလုပ်သေးတာပေါ့နော်နောက်ပိုင်း TikTok မှာလည်း live stream လုပ်ဖို့စဉ်းစားထားပါတယ်live stream ကလောလောဆယ်3နေရာပေါ့နော်3နေရာရှိတယ် Facebook ကပေါ်လာပေးထားတဲ့ online game voucher MM ဆိုတဲ့ page မှာ live stream လုပ်နေနောက်တစ်ခုက Ace Reborn Gaming Facebook page ပြီးသွားရင် YouTube မှာလည်း Ace Reborn Gaming ပဲ3ခုရှိတယ် description မှာ link ချထားတယ်
or you could just predict an assassin to come through immediately for YG just to lock
ပေါ်လာပေးတာအရင်တော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ teammate ကိုကလန် teammate ပဲ
sticking with the marksman is still something that's
သူ
probably
ကပဲ
out from Team Spirit
ဒီ UC တိုင်းမို့ရောက်နေဆိုကိုယ့်အရင်လိုပြန်လုပ်ပါလားဆိုလို့ပြန်လုပ်ဖြစ်တာပါ
which is the Melissa
Golden EXP being looked for on the side of Team
အဲ့
Spirit.
တော့ follow
When you come to
လုပ်ပြီးတော့ကျေးဇူး
YG,
များ
still
တင်ပါတ
looking
ယ်
for
brother
that EXP as well. And they're going to find their jungle pick. The R-Lot taken away.
ဒီနေ့အခု live stream ကတော့ဒီလိုဟိုဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲပွဲကိုကတ်ချင်လို့လာတာမဟုတ်ဘူးပေါ့နော်ဟို YG fan ဟိုရင်ကလေး YG fan ပေါ့နော် YG fan ဆို YG ကိုအားပေးချင်တာရော YG ဆိုရင် Dota 2ရော PUBG ရော Mobile Legends အကုန်လုံးအားပေးတယ်သူတို့လုံးသမျှအစင်းနေပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုအားပေးတာဆိုဒီ1 second လို့ပါဝင်ရကောင်တမျိုးလို့အဲ့ကလေးအားပေးတာပေါ့ကိုဒီနေ့လည်းပြစ်တာဟုတ်နောက်ကြရင်လည်းလက်ဝဲပွဲတွေရောတွင့်ကြည့်ပါလား Voila.
Yeah, and there's still a
Ale,
possibility that maybe
one
they could
championship
pick up Nolan later on, which
UFC
I feel
အဲ့လား
if ever they're looking at either
ညီမလက်ဝဲကိုပြောရတာ
It's fine because Suyo, Nolan, I still
အဲ့
prefer
ဒါတွေက one championship လို့ပါလို့ဆိုပြန်လွှင့်လို့မရအောင်
took out the Phobius and
Bank
maybe
hand.
we're
Bank
looking at
hand.
that. Oh, but they're the ones who
Yeah.
got the Ruby,
အဲ့ဒါတွေကဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲ bro
so we can pretty much
ဟို
just pull
ကို
it
ရဲ့
off.
ဝါသနာ
Whoever
လည်းမ
wants
ဟုတ်
with
နေတော့
Spirit.
တည်ရပါလား
Okay.
လောကလည်းခက်
They
တာပေါ့
now fully know that this is going to be Ruby
အခုဒါ mobile legend တော့မှာနော်ကိုတိုင်းနေစော့တယ်
so it's
ဝင်စော့ဆိုမှအပျော်တန်းတော့ပဲစော့တာပေါ့နော်
I feel like YG is also considering
Uh,
whether they need a
အဲ့ဒါ
Harley
ကို
for
ဒီ
this one,
ပွဲ
they need a Nolan,
guest လုပ်ဖို့အဆင်မပြေ
is it gonna be
လက်
a
ဝဲ
case
ဆို
of
ရင်န
they
ည်းနည်းတော့
can
ဝေးတယ်
scale up? Honestly, with this Selena, I don't think
one
they can really
championship
scale
လို့
up
UFC
something like this
တို့
ship,
လောက်တော့
right?
ကြည့်ပြပါတယ်
Especially Ruby as well. I feel
Hello.
like this need at least one magic
အဲ့
resist
အခု
item
ကတော့
that
ပွဲ
she- Well, now she might need more because the hire
လူ
has been picked up by Team
လူ
Spirit.
စိတ်
and
ဝင်
now
စား
Lapu
များမယ်ထင်တာ
as
လေး
well.
လွှင့်ကြည့်
So
ပေါ့ဗျာတဲ့
Lapu and Ruby, I would say it's a pretty good
အဲ
matchup
ဘယ်လို
because
ပြီးနေ
both
လားလဲ
kind
bro
of
ရဲ့
wanna
ခုမှလာ
fight
ကြည့်လို့
around
ပါတဲ့
minions.
အဲဘယ်လိုပြီး
And
နေလဲ
when
ဆိုတော့
Phoenix is
ဝိုင်း
around,
အဲ
you're
ပထ
just
မ
gonna, like,
ဆုံးတစ်
say,
ပွဲ
"Oh,
ကတော့
this is way too much."
Team Spirit နိုင်သွားတယ်
Team
ဒုတိယပွဲ
Spirit
ကတော့
already
YG နိုင်
showing
သွားပါ
their
တယ် bro
cards. Guinevere banned on the
အခုကတော့
side
ဒါ
of
တတိယ
YG.
ပွဲပေါ့နော်
Still
တ
picking
တိယ
for the
ပွဲကို
jungle.
hero ပစ်နေပြီ
Aurora taken away. The
ခဏနေတော့
lane
ပွဲ
has
စ
not
မယ်
been played.
ပွဲစလို့ရှိရင်တော့
Feels like the
ပွဲကိုတော့
few
guest
weeks
မှာ
ago,
မဟုတ်
so
ပေါ့နော်
they
ကျွန်တော်
know
mobile
what it
legend
is.
caster
You
မဟုတ်
guys
လို့ပါ
called it.
ဟို PUBG
And
caster
you
ပါ
like it a little bit better, you
အဲ့
said,
တော့
LaFell.
ဘိုလိုကြီး caster တွေပြောသလိုတော့ပြောမှာမဟုတ်ဘူးเนาะကျွန်တော်အမြင်အရဒီပြိုင်ပွဲတွေစော်ပူးတဲ့အမြင်အရကိုမြင်တဲ့အမြင်တွေကိုကိုယ်ဆိုင်နဲ့ပြောမှာပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ Ace ကဒီပွဲပေါ်မှာဘယ်လိုတုံးတက်တယ်ဘယ်လိုမြင်တယ်ပေါ့အဲ့အမြင်ကိုပြောတာအဲ့လိုမျိုးပေါ့ပြိုင်ပွဲလူကြိုက်များတယ်ဩ
And
အဲလူကြိုက်တော့များရပေါ့ဒါပေမဲ့ game stream မှာနဲ့လက်ဝဲပွဲနဲ့ကြောင်းနည်းနည်းလှမ်းသွားပြီပြတာနောက်တစ်ခုကကိုရီသွားတဲ့လမ်းကြောင်းကဘယ်လိုလဲဆိုတော့လူ
Well, it was an early game win
ဟို
for Team
ယာချီ
Spirit
ထောင်
and
ချီ
YG.
ရှိတယ်မလို့တကယ်တမ်း
Not seen in
ကို
this
အဲ့လို
tournament
ကြိုက်တဲ့
respond
လူပေါ့
right
နော်
away to even the
အဲ့
score.
မျိုးနဲ့အဲ့လို
It's a 7 turn
ကြစ်
to
ကြစ်
a
လေးလေး
best
စူးစူး
of
စီ
five.
အဲ့လိုသွား
Who's
ကြတာ
gonna take the lead to start
သွား
it
ရဲ့
off?
လမ်းကြောင်းကြီးက
Gideon
န
and
ည်းနည်းတော့ကွဲတယ်ပေါ့အဲ့လို
Well, that's a really difficult question right now.
1-1 ဟုတ်တယ်
Leaning a little
1-1
bit to Yanga only because they're momentum based.
1-1 မှာ
You know, every single time
အခု
they get
ဒါ
the
က
win,
တတိယပွဲပေါ့နော်တတိယပွဲဘာသာလို့ဟိုပွဲကိုနည်းနည်းလေးအာရုံစိုက်လိုက်မယ်နော်လို့ဒီဘက်မှာကဒါဘူးလာပို့ okay Team Spirit က Team Spirit hero pick ကတော့နည်းနည်း change ဖြစ်သွားပါတော့ငါတို့ဒီဘက်ကဒီ YG ကတော့ Cloudy Goaling ပဲပြန်ထွက်ထားတယ်ဟော Nolan
Again, controlling
Nolan
neutral
Hyper
objectives.
နဲ့
It seems like they have built a composition to play around that.
ကျွန်တော်ကြည့်ရအောင်
Bomba on an old but still
Ruby
signature. Lapu
Ruby
taking
နဲ့
the seeing here. He's gonna have to be
ဒါ
careful.
ဘူးလာ
It's
ဘူး
Ruby.
ဆိုရင်တကယ်တမ်းပြောရင်တော့ဒါဘူးကိုတော့ပိုကြိုက်တယ်
Up the regen, Ying.
Yeah.
hero ပြောတာပေါ့အတင်းပြောတာပေါ့
At least for Ruby, she's not
ရှင်ထင်းကြတယ်
reliant on
ရှင်ထင်းကြီးဆိုပေါ့နော်
naturally in
ကိုဆိုရှင်
just needs to walk up to the wave. I'm low, not a big item, not a big
Ruby
deal.
ရောဟိုဟာလာ
Every
ဘူးကို
single
ဆော့ရ
time she
ပေါ့
tries to go for the sustain, she's
လာဘူးတော့ပို့လို့ပြောကြတယ်
unintentionally pushing the wave, right?
ဒါပေမဲ့တဲ့အနေနဲ့ရှင်ကြည့်ရင်တော့တိတ်မကွာပါဘူး
Emblems, it is Season Hunter here.
Hyper
But
လည်းတိတ်
Sanji
မကွာ
have to take the Purify, and the same goes for
Goaling-
Hiko. So very
Goaling
lucky
မဲ့တစ်ချက်
matchup
ကြည့်ရ
for
မယ်
both Sanji and Hiko.
ဘိုလင်းကဒီအာလီမှာဆိုလို့ချင်းဟာရစ်ကနည်းနည်းလေးပို့ပြီးလုတ်ကွက်ထွက်မဲ့သဘောရှိတယ် အာလီပြောတာနော်တကယ်ရောတော့အုပ်လို့ရတယ်ဝိုင်းကြီးနိုင်မထင်လားတဲ့ဒီတကယ်လို့များဒီပွဲရဲ့ second target ကိုဝိုင်းကြီးရခဲ့မယ်ဆိုရင်နိုင်နိုင်ကြီး chance က65%လောက်ဖြစ်သွားနိုင်တယ်
I think maybe the pressure is starting to mount, and I
တိ
think
တာဒီပွဲပေါ့နော်
Han, he recognizes like, okay, my ult
နောက်
technically
တစ်ခုကကိုဒီ mid lane မှာကျတော့
there's like 15 seconds.
hero pick ကနည်းနည်းကွာသွားပြီပြောရမယ်
Still look for other plays across the map. The question is, what is that play going to look like, right?
mid lane hero pick အနေထားအရဆိုရင်ငါ 1G ဘက်ကိုပို့ကြိုက်တယ် Aurora ပေါ့နော်
Very well adjusted to each other. You can see
ဟုတ်တော့ဒီ Harry တို့ Selena တို့ဟိုဘက်ကဒီ
opening up the map slowly.
ဟိုဟာတွေကိုချက်ချင်းဖြောက် instant ဖြောက်လို့ရတယ်ကွာ
Back on mine
တိတာ
super duty.
အဲ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ပို့ပြီးသဘောကျတယ်လို့ပြော Ruby ဝင်ပြီးတော့ Eddie ဆွဲလိုက်ပြီးဆိုတာနဲ့ Aurora နဲ့အဲ့လိုနှစ်ပေါင်းလောက်ချက်ချင်းဖြောက်လို့ရတယ်
Boom, bang. Team
အဲ့ combo လေးပဲတစ်ချက်ကြည့်ရ
pick up the neutral objective again.
နောက်တော့ဒီ Nolan disable ပေါ့နော်
Strike first on the neutral objective.
Yeah, let's see whether the vertical jungling is
Nolan disable ဆိုတာသိရမလား Nolan ခုံလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်ဒီအဝိုင်းပြီးသားရင်ဖုတ်လို့ဆိုရင်ပေါ့အဲ့ဒီအချိန်မှာတို့ကဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲ second တစ် second နီးပါးလောက်ဟိုဖြစ်သွားပါ အားရကိုအေးရတယ်ဗော
extremely volatile, right? Because
ကိုလာ RBB ဝိုင်းကြီးရဲနှစ်ပွဲပြီးသွားပြီဒါတက်မြောက်ပွဲ bro ဘလို့တွေက1-1ပဲဒီ bro ပွဲအဲ့လိုဘယ်နှကြည့်ရမှမသိလို့ရှိရင်အခု0-0ဖြစ်နေအပေါ်မှာတွေ့လားအဲ့0-0ဘေးမှာမြားအပေါ်လေးထောက်ပြီးတော့မဲနေတဲ့ဟာပေါ့နော်တစ်ဖက်ကိုတရုံးစီရှိတယ်အဲ့ဒါနှစ်ပွဲဆုပ်ပြီးသွားပြီဆိုတဲ့အတိတ်ပဲအဲ့တရုံးရပြီဆိုတပွဲနိုင်တာလို့အဲ့လိုမျိုးကြည့်ရတယ်အဲ့ Dota 2ပဲကြည့်ဒီ Mobile Legends ပဲကြည့်အဲ့ပွဲတွေကအဲ့တိုင်းပဲဘလောရပွဲတွေလည်းအဲ့တိုင်းပဲကျွန်တော် share ပေးသားလို့လူများလိုက်ဟုတ်တယ်ဗျာကျေးဇူးအများကြီးတင်ပါတယ်နောက်နေ့လည်းလာကြည့်လေးဗျာ comment ကကိုရီးယားအဲ့လိုလူနည်းနည်းနဲ့ကြည်ကြည်လေးလေးသွားခြင်းနဲ့ဆိုတာဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲ comment တွေကိုလည်းအဲ့လိုတစ်ခုမှမလွတ်အောင်ဖတ်ချင်တာပေါ့အဲ့လိုဒီကလိုက်တိုက်ရမယ်ဟာတိတ်ကြိတ်တာပေါ့ကိုရီးယားဘီရောက် share တော့နောက်တော့အဲ့လို event တွေပါတွေတွားပြတဲ့အခါကျတော့ရှင်ပြောမယ်လေဟိုအဓိက Discord လေး join တာပြီ Discord မှာအများကြီးဒီဟိုlive stream မလွှင့်နေတဲ့အချိန်တွေမှာစကားကြီးပြောလို့ရတယ်စာလည်းပြန် Discord channel join လာလိုက်ဒီကကြုံရင်တိုက်မယ်ဘူးနဲ့ပြောရင်အဲ့လိုပွဲတွေပါဟိုပတ်ကြီးပွဲတွေပါဆိုရင်တချို့ပွဲတွေဆိုရင်တွားမှာအဲ့မှာတွေ့လို့ရှိရင်လည်းခေါ်လို့ရှိရင်ဒီကလိုက်တိုက်ပွဲလိုက်ကြိုက်တယ်ကောင်းပါပြီအကုန်လုံးဒီသေးပဲပြန်ပြီးထိန်းခဲ့တာအဲ့လိုမျိုးသူတို့တော့ကဲနေမှာလားမအောင်မြင်ဘူးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်သူတို့ဘက်ကဒီဟိုအချိန်ကုန်သွားတာကွာဥပလင်းမျိုးကဒီကောင်တွေကတားတဲ့ပဲဆိုင်နေတာဒါပေမဲ့အားနေတဲ့အချိန်မှာအဲ့စိုက်လိမ့်မှာဒီကောင်နဲ့ရှိနေ Ruby ဟိုကောင်းပါပြီ damage တောက်လျှောက်ပေးနေတဲ့ရတယ်မရဘောကွာအဲ့ကြောင့်ပြောလာပူတော့နည်းနည်းပူပြီးလုတ်ကွက်ထွက်တယ်ကွာ Ruby တဲ့ဆိုင်သူတွေကနေညောင်းရေးလွတ်သွားတာသူတို့ဂိမ်းနဲ့မကြားရရင်ငါနည်းနည်းချဲ့ပြီးမယ်နော်သူတို့ကစားအတန်နည်းနည်းနားထောင်နေရအဓိကပရိသတ်အတန်နားထောင်လို့ရအောင်သူတို့ဒီမှာအားပေးနေတဲ့အတန်ရှိအမှန်လည်းကြည့်လို့ကောင်းပါ
The XP crab away.
This is a very similar rotation that we saw in game number 2 coming in from the Young finds the punish, chunks Han out and says, you better go back to base. That orange buff, you're not going to get anywhere near it. And Sunset Lover is walking up to ensure that it's... Oh, hold on. Bit of an awkward time to go for a replay there, but coming back into this fight, the wall combos have been mentioned for this composition. They have to be on point, and Team Spirit understands they can't just fight willy-nilly. There's got to be a conversion.
ဒါပူရဲ့ဒီသေးပဲနဲ့ပေါ့အဲ့မှာတိုင်းပတ်သွားဒီဘက်ချင်းမှာလည်းဒီဟိုက်ပါကိုတော့ဖြတ်တယ်အောင်လိုက်ဘူးရော
He was probably also screaming
so oh
my god it's accurate even in slow motion it's just crazy that the lethal ignition didn't proc away they just needed one more auto attack and what
the second but
from Yangon Galactica is also about to get their own battle spells up. The major advantage really comes on to the multiple members of the TS. From EXP all the way down to gold, everybody has found a slight advantage.
Nico is really becoming a problem though, right? He already held a monopoly over that gold crab. Now he's taking the XP crab, putting him in a great position for Turtle 3.
He's just a little itchy for these grabs, you know?
Hey, hold on now.
Okay, he's going to proxy the way very early on here, and look at the coverage coming in from the rest of TS, right? Han, if he can find this, that would be insane.
Zauer's so smart. Every single time he uses both the proxy, he just uses both to clear it out. That's why Han can't go in now. He's spotted Zauer walk up again, gets going the retribution, and he wins it. As he so arrow lands on Han, now it's a taken low, but not down just yet. Bomba sucks him forward, gets the last hit. Now it's Sanji on Bomba, but Sao playing a great position, holding it.
Amazing mechanics, really amazing mechanics. Can they get a little bit more here? Because now, this is the position that Yangon always find themselves. Mid-tier 1 threatened, and Han has to give up his life for it too.
Mobilization from Zauer. Han cannot be walking like that. Sunset with the capitalization, and now Kaiser. It's going to be so difficult for him to find first. Bomba's just taking it like a champ.
Yep, and now from this point onwards, we're expecting TS to just skyrocket. Their stonks are getting bigger and bigger. The gold lead and deficit here for Yangon spreads very thin. Abyssal Rally connects here, but look at Zauer. He wants to go in, and I'm pretty sure Zauer's telling him, relax.
I think Zauer knows exactly what he was doing there, man. He just wanted to bait out the flicker. That was really good CC. Bomba now, the Raptors trying to taunt over, and it's complete lockdown on Blake. Taking out a Sunset, going to be taken over, but is able to get away for a bit, baiting out some resources. Zauer gets away from Ying. And it's TS who are just showing how good they can be with the mechanics as well.
They trade out Sunset Lover for Blink. It's not ideal, of course, but they got the battle spell out of Kaiser. No flicker for him. Making sure the 3 items real quick. 2 to 1.5. Comparison between Sanji as well as Hiko. Cheaper items as per usual. But even so, big items like Lightning Truncheons for the extra burst. We do see a Chastised Pauldron being purchased by Sao. So again, it's still a little difficult to take him out when he goes for those big flicker plays on top of the Wrath of the Dryads. Overall, the biggest problem right now is the fact that Zara can basically fight whenever alongside the Sunset Lover. With that Vortex, doesn't matter how low he gets chunked out, he will be able to heal back to full as long as there's a wave, there's a camp somewhere.
Uh-oh. Careful, Sanji. Bomba with the Bravest Fighter jumps in with the flicker as well. Now he's going to the blazing weapon. He's going to get bursted down. You just got to react in time. Blake gets caught in the storm. I mean, he's going to try, but they're going to get him here. Zara executes him underneath the turret like it was nothing. Something is overpowered as a hero. You gotta give it a Kit Bomba here. And also, it's more of a mistake on Sanji for just not instantly purifying and getting out of that position. He held it for a little too long. And now it's a neutral objective, 10-1. 6.4k gold lead. Bomba on the Lapu Lapu. With Sunset stealing away camps, but you know, that's retribution. So the secure fracture on the green camp, not giving anything away. But man, wait, Zara gonna kill off camera on Kaise. Oh, during the replay. Oh my god,
yeah, just one-shot him. Like, he is so strong right now, it's ridiculous. And he's maintaining these war acts. Doesn't even have side piercer, right? He doesn't. He's lived. That's why I say, Hirara, as soon as you hit level 15, you feel like an absolute monster, with or without the CDR, right? Just the natural damage that you have, and able to triple it every time you use one of those combo points.
Zauer. There's a win. Bomba with a jump on the Bravest Fighter now on YG. Instant CC immune to get out of that. He just cannot land those CC locks.
Oh, and looking down the bot side, you can see that Han is trying his best to get a tier 2. Blink should survive here, but they might losing it here. This is a really tough game. Really tough game for Yangon, right?
At the items, bro.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's already it's an 8k lead. I think 4,000 is like should be on Zara at this point. He's 2-level lead against Han. How many buffs at this point? 3 buffs at this point. It's been difficult. It's been difficult. He's still just getting hey, guys, it's me. Feather Heaven. Where y'all at?
Everybody's at 6 items. Like, yeah, Feather
for event.
Guys, my investments are working out. Dude, I mean, for YG right now, there's literally nothing you can do. It's 11-1. You can only just in your face. It's a Eudora as well. Dude, he is nearly 10,000 extra damage ahead of Kaize, and somehow Han has not been able to find the big burst damage or the snowball that we were looking for. Holy, 4 items!
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe it was a little short on the roar, but good.
No wonder.
He's basically dealing true damage, right? Before YG members can even get those physical defense items, he already has the Melvic Roar. Yep, and I love the fact that Kid Bomba understands that he still needs to be somewhat tanky here, right? He's not like trying to greed out, going for the Hunter Strike. He's like, alright, I've got Queen's Wings, got Chastised Pauldron, I'm going to dive every single time. And with the damage reduction, if I hit multiple people, even better, my anti-CC can get me in and out of these fights. So really, the all-in is dependent on Yangon more than it is for Team Spirit. Damage taken, taking a beating. Really hasn't reflected. He has 0 deaths. With a jump in, the flicker on Kaize again, bidding off some of those resources, taking everything. Mistaken now. They're gonna get punished for it. Ying goes down. Blink should be the next to fall here with an epically strong eco on top of it all. Like if things could not get worse here in game number 3 for the momentum that Yangon built in game number 2, TS has completely shut it down. Bomba just took a 1v5, baited all the resources, everything rolled in, and it didn't matter. Bros 3-0 and 3. Now with the Brave Spider again, no flicker, so he can't go for that stun. But he's able to buy some time right now with the arrow lands in the back line, and it's going to be sunset. And Sour goes godlike. Han's going to be taken down. And that's Team Spirit, who leads the series 2-1. That's a really big mistake there. Bomba jumps in, was not supposed to actually land the stun onto Sanji, and yet it did, forcing him to flicker out, and that costed them the entire fight. Like this small little details that make all the difference. The Team Spirit answer back, you know what, we'll take this game. Yangon just have to say, okay, GG go next, it's still as the 7, first of 4 wins.
My goodness. It's been a while since we've seen Kid Bomba on the Lapu Lapu, but man, he reminds us why it was one of his main picks back in the day. It was literally just last year, where every single time Mans was styling on everybody, but unfortunately he couldn't.
Hi, now. 真是。မီးကပြတ်နေတဲ့ညီကိုတို့ရေလောက်ကြအောင်ဟောလာပြီဟာခိုင်မီးချင်းလိုက်မယ် sorry ငါတော့နှိမ့်လိုက်တာရှိုင်းလောက်ပါ sorry
Works every single time, but we can't give all the fun here on the table. We're throwing it back over to our panel to break it down for y'all.
And we're catching it. Thank you, Gideon and Mirko. Another game, another Team Spirit win. They turn this best of 5 in their favor as they grab this one. Go 2-1 up over Yangon Galacticos of Myanmar. What a journey we have had to get to this moment. Just tuning in, Lapuနဲ့ Ruby နဲ့ဆိုရင်ဒီ Lapu ကိုပို့တော့ကြတီးလို့ပြပေါ့နော် in the grand finals of MLBB in
ဘာကလာပင်းနဲ့ညာစီရောတဲ့ Good morning bro
but at this point either one of them will rewrite their story and create a new chapter
ပြင်ဟွာရှိသေးတယ်ဗါလာလာမန်းလို့ချင်းဘယုတ်ဒုက္ခ
in Paris, France, and
I everything ရှိသေးတယ်
My name's Randy. I'm joined again by Brig and LaFell.
အဲ့တော့မီးချင်းလိုက်မယ် bro ဒါခဏနားထောင်
They are brother and sister. They said
you're brother
and
too.
I'm now a brother as well. We're all brothers and sisters. We're siblings, and that was a Team Spirit victory. I don't know what is it about Kid Bomba when he gets going, about Zaur when he gets Aurora that is unstoppable.
Oh, I think they both individually had highlights there. I think their clips are gonna go out on social media just later. The escapes we saw from Zar, Egoist on the Hirara, and the entries from Kid Bomba. The entries, by the way, which did not cost them as much. And that's just a statement right there to show how dominant Team Spirit have already established themselves in this game. Because as much as you don't want to admit it, what our casters said earlier, it's sad that it's true. Yangon could not do anything in this game.
The proof is Han only did 11,000 damage. And let's put that into perspective, right? His roamer, the glue, did 15,000. right? So that kind of shows if you're position 5,
that's a problem.
The one that's supposed to have no farm does more damage than you, which is supposed to be the one moving the map around. Then yes, we can definitely see how that becomes a problem. In fact, I would say Merkel put it very nicely, say that the draft coming in from Team Spirit has amazing presence around those neutral objectives, the turtle as well as the Lord. But we don't even get to the point of the Lord being relevant. It's all about those turtle fights. The zone control they have.
You know, you wouldn't have thought that Nolan would do so poorly. This is a really good hero pick. I think it's a 5. You're flexing it, you know, you're getting something a little bit deeper in the pool, but it's worked. And we've seen it work as a selection. You said the Suyo could come out, but this was what they went with. It was a disappointment. But is it less about how good Nolan is or isn't, but more about how valuable Harara is in this matchup of junglers?
I think it's because what Nolan wanted to do is essentially the same as what Spirit has been doing. It's just that Hirara has more help in terms of being able to pull off those in and out plays rather than the Nolan. Because I think, especially looking at the blue, you want to stay in the fights longer. You want things to get really messy just so you can land your grab on your target and so you could pull in the ones that you want. But Team Spirit have done a great job at just going in when they feel like trying to start a fight, but they can choose to commit or to not commit either way. So it's like they've been always playing and setting up fights on their terms, which I think their lineup greatly specializes on. But for Yangon, you want to just keep the fight going, so then Han could go and find the pickups that he wants. But he's not really given the opportunity to do so because, again, Spirit have just engaged whenever they like, and they just don't fight when they don't.
Claude back in the...
bế con đố lục rồi nào là hòa bế con đố lục rồi này là đi
Everything looks good, and how he does that is that you can plan all you want, but if you get punched in the face, you forget about all of your plans, and that's kind of what Bomba did.
Cloudy နဲ့ Harry မှာလည်းပြောရရင် hero pick ကကွာသေးတယ်
So first, we gotta talk about the change that happened in this draft, which is Team Spirit. They have two things, right? Number one, they have a lot of mobility, right? Where they can move around, and why this is so important is because the fact that they're going up against a glue, right? I ran out of space, but here's the thing. They made it so that this glue cannot really do much just because, let's count the amount of dashes they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah. These 4 members have a lot of dashes in their kit, making it so that even if the glue does catch onto them, they can outplay that.
Yeah, that's the second thing. They
have ways that they can individually influence the map just by
ခုနကတော့ Rubio ပေါ်လန်းတော့ပတ်တဲ့အချိန်မှာလေအဲ့ကောင်နှစ်ကောင်နဲ့ဒီစလီနာနဲ့ပေါင်းပြီးတော့သုံးကောင်သွားလုပ်တာကွာ Rubio မရခဲ့ဘူးဆိုပေမဲ့တတ်တယ်ရလိုက်တယ်အဲ့ဘက်နဲ့
we're looking at this clip here and we're going to be looking at more of the zone control that Team Spirit really has with this draft. And again, we talked about having that first punch.
ပေါ်လန်း Rubio မရလိုက်ဘူးဒါပေမဲ့တတ်တယ်ရသွား
Honestly, they tried, right? YG really tried because we're going to be zooming in. We're going to see Blink even using
YG ပဲကြတော့ကွာ position ကောင်းကောင်းမရဘူးတကယ်ပဲဆိုင်တဲ့အချိန်မှာသူတို့ ready မဖြစ်နေဘူးပေါ့နည်းနည်း
The problem is again they have a lot of dashes, making it very difficult for the glue to really do much. So when he does go in, able to dodge out, and all the while we see Kip Bomba here trying to zone them away. Speaking of, we're going to look at all the zone control that they have. Sao is controlling this flank here. Kip Bomba is controlling this side here, as well as Sunset Lover is just here in case he controls the arrow. So how does that look like? Well, division control, Sao is here, Kip Bomba is here, and then Sunset is here, but it can really go out to anywhere because the arrow has a very long range. And it ended up making it so that San Diego was able to secure the turtle, but then the follow-up here, a very quick turnaround, how they were all spread out, and yet they clumped up together so fast because of two things, mobility as well as just the potent ability of each hero to have a very high skill ceiling, making it so that they can continue to fight once everything is said and done. So this draft is honestly less about strategy and more about the coach giving the players a hero that can do so much. It's all about your own creativity. It's all about your own skill. It's a job not many teams can pull off.
Ruby တဲ့ဆိုင်လာပူရဲ့ mobility ကပုံမြင့်တယ်။အဲ့တော့ AD နဲ့လည်းခုံလို့ရတယ်။ပြီးတော့ dash လို့ရတယ်။ Ruby ကကျတော့သွားလို့ရဆိုရင်နည်းနည်းလေးပဲခြေတလန်းစာတော်လေးပဲသွားလို့ရပါဘောနော်။
You can lose track of the big
အဲ့နေရာမှာလည်းကွာတယ်ပြီးတော့ Harin နဲ့ Cloudy မှာလည်းတော့ကွာတယ်
It's normal break to okay, we focus a little bit too much on that. Now we need to pull back here. Think about it a different way. If you're YG, what's your takeaway now going into game 4? Because you can't really afford to make the same mistake. Going down 2-0, giving them a chance to, in this case would be 3-1, 2 games in a row, a chance to clinch out the next game. What has to shift? It might not be a big one.
Yeah, honestly, it's tough if you base it off that game because I agree with you. There might have been some sort of tunnel vision already. There was so much attempt to really lock onto Hiko specifically, and I think that's essentially because that's what you expect from the glue. That's the job that you really want to get from I think the Selena would be an easy target that he too could really dash on. So, and I guess you really would want to resort to the Harriet because it's a much more sustained source of damage when it comes to the do get to do so. The zoning, it was highlighted earlier by I don't think the others
7 round ထိအကုန်ပြီးသွားပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ညကြရင် game ဆိုးတွေလိုက်ရှိမယ်
communication between the
ပြီးသွားရင်
Yangon if they really want to set their eyes on something and if they really feel like they're already capable of actually committing to whoever they want to go for or to that specific team
ဒီညဆော့ရင်ဆော့မယ်မဆော့လို့သူကဘယ်လုံးမှမကြောက်ဘူးတနိုင်အောင်မကြောက်
trying to get more connected here in this one.
game လေးတစ်ခုဆော့ပြမယ်
We'll have game 4 but also
တနိုင်သားတော့မရှိတဲ့ game လေးပေါ့
and it's new crossover
အဲ့လေး
with
ဆော့
Street
မယ်
Fighter.
ဒီနေ့ညဒါမှမဟုတ်ရင်နက်ဖြန် live stream မှာပေါ့နက်ဖြန် live stream စရတဲ့ဆော့ရင်ဆော့ဟဲ့တချင်းဒါမှလည်းအဲ့ဒါပဲကြောက်နေရတယ်အဲ့တချင်းကိုပဲကြောက်နေရတယ်အဲ့ဒီချင်းတွေက copyright ရှိတယ်ပြီးသွားရင်တချို့ဟာတွေဆိုဖြီမရတော့တည်းမှာ live stream ကိုဖျက်ပစ်မယ်တွေပါချင်းချောက်တာသူစင်ဘာလို့တကယ်လို့ Facebook မှာ line အရင်မကြည့်ဘူးအဆင်မပြေနေဘူးဆို YouTube ရှိရနော် YouTube channel မှာလာကြည့်လို့ရတယ် Facebook ကကြတော့ဒီ online game voucher နဲ့ Reborn gaming နှစ် page မှာလွှင့်နေအဲ့တော့ line ကြည့်ခြင်းနဲ့ပိုကောင်းခြင်းနဲ့ဘာညာဆိုရင် YouTube မှာတော့ကြည့်လို့ရပါတယ် YouTube လည်းရှိတယ် YouTube လည်းရှိတယ် Facebook ကတော့ quality နည်းနည်းချတယ်သူတို့ကချတာပေါ့ frame rate တွေကအပြည့်မရတာတော့ဘာလို့ချအားကြောင့်ကဲ game 4 let's go game 4ဟာကွာဒီနေ့ကတော့အဲ့လိုဖလားလေးတိမ့်ပိုင်ရင်းနေပဲပျော်ပျော်ကြီး game ဆော့ချင်တယ်နော်ဘာလို့လဲစဉ်းစားကြည့်လေငါတို့ဒီမြန်မာအသင်းနေဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဟိုပက်ကြီးမှာဟိုကဘာဖလားသဘောမျိုးပေါ့ World Cup ဝိုင်းကြီးရောက်သွားပြီးနောက်ပိုင်းမှာပက်ကြီးမိုဘိုင်းကငါတို့ဒီမြန်မာနိုင်ငံကိုတော်တော်ကြီးကိုအသားပေးလာတယ်ပေါ့နော်အများကြီးအရင်ရတဲ့ဆိုင်အများကြီးတည်တာတယ်ဘာလို့အရင်တော့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဒီ caster တွေဘာတွေကိုအဲ့လို KOL လို့ခေါ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်သူတို့ကိုဟိုလိုလင့်ပေါ့တည်ရမလားဂိမ်းနိုင်ပဲပါတယ်လင့်တို့ပါတော့အဲ့မျိုးကြီးမပေးဘူးကိုရီနိုင်ငံကိုဟုတ်ဒီ 1G ဖလားရပြီးနောက်ပိုင်းမှာဒီဒီနိုင်ငံရဲ့ e-sport ကိုလည်းနည်းတော့ website မှာရတော့မယ်ဆိုပြီး game ဘက်ကနေအဲ့လိုသဘောပေါက်သွားတာပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးအဲ့လိုရှိတယ်ဘာလို့360ပြန်လာပြီးတရှင်းမရှိတော့ဘူးထင်တယ်ပြန်ဖွင့်လာလိုက်တေးလာအခု ဒီ Mobile Legends မှာလေအခုပတ်ကြည့်လို့ပဲပေါ့နော်ကြီးကြီးမားမားစုတစ်ခုယူလိုက်ပြီး
after team spirit again take the upper hand
အားလို့လည်း
For me, if they want to win, they got to get first pick. They got to get on
ဖလားသိမ်းနိုင်တော့တော်တော်ဖြစ်နိုင်ပြီတော်တော်ချင်းနေကောင်းနေပြီဒီဖလားသိမ်းနိုင်တော့အဲ့လိုနော်ဟဲ့ line တွေကဘာဖြစ်နေတာတော့အော်ရှစ်ခွဲမို့လို့ထုံးစံ
At
တိုင်း
that
ဘယ်လိုလဲ
point, they can first pick the
ဒီချိန်လို
Harara.
line ပုံမှန်ပဲအဲ့ဟာဝက်ကန်လို့ဆောင်းလားဟုတ်တယ်နော်ဆောင်းကြာတော့ခြောင်ပြီးတော့ဆောင်းအကင်နီးပြနေတာအာရှော Spider-Man is bad ဟာဒူဖုန်းမှာဘာလို့ဒီလာတက်စားပြီအဲ့ကြိုင်ဒီဆို
Force
ဘာ
Team
ဘူးဂိမ်းဆိုမယ်
Spirit
နော်
to
ဒီ
actually
ဆို
bet
မယ်
on
နော်
the Harara
ဂိ
opening
မ်း
up
ဆို
the
မယ်
draft
နော်
a little more because I really feel like
အဲ့ကြိုင်ဂိမ်းဆိုရ
that's
လိုက် straight
one of the big difference in game number 3 is that they're on the second pick.
Yeah,
They have more
I
picks,
think
able to get the
knocked
quad.
out,
But
man.
again, letting go of
Ah,
that
they
Harara
changed,
does seem honestly quite punishing.
Yeah, especially as we've seen how the mastery from Zar has been exceptional in this series. That last game.
အဲ့က1 nil
Dude, I'm still not over how he actually got away. He still remained alive.
During the purple buff
Yeah.
The
attempt,
purple
yeah.
buff sequence. It was a bit too much to handle, I feel. It could be very...
အဲ့ဒါရက်ွက်လိုက်ကြ
Yeah, and it's just in the flow, and
How about
it's a
Lulu now?
positive effect for Team Spirit. It's a
Yeah,
negative
man.
effect.
You can go
knowing you gotta
your
deal with that
line,
again.
why
There's going to be
don't
moments
they
that he
change
just
the
escapes, and it's
little
2 games in a row. He's had too much of that. And on the other side, I think you have to consider that maybe this is Zaur's story. Maybe this is the story of a young jungler who's 16 and starts out his international career on a big stage like this and lifts a trophy, LaFell, because as much as Myanmar wants this, as much as they deserve it, ECA has also brought the heat.
I mean, like, we're going to talk about story since the very beginning. Sunset, Lover, as well as Sao. Since as early as M1, they basically made through every international. They might have missed 1 or 2, but the majority, it's always them. And then the lineup upgraded by bringing in Kid Bomba. A lot of personality, but talking to the guy one-on-one, he's very clever in the game, especially about how the laning phase is supposed to be, and then eventually getting Hiko Mania. I think one of the highest counts of savages in international tournament, and now completing the
better, and that's the
ငါမဟုတ်ဘူးဒါပတ်ကြီးလက်ခွာပတ်ကြီးရတဲ့ပွဲရှိတယ်အေးဟုတ်တယ်နော်ပြီးရင်ပတ်ကြီးပွဲလည်းပြလို့ရသေးတယ် Mobile Legend ခိုင်တော့ဟိုဘက်မှာ hero ပစ်နေတော့တော့ဟိုရင်တော့မလွယ်ကူဘူးလေ yeah ဟုတ်တယ်လို့ဒီ link ပဲရှိတာနောက်နဲ့
Because Ying doesn't have a hero just yet, but do they really want to settle with a Ruby if they're playing a lineup that's just going to protect around a Yi Sun Shin?
I mean, I don't mind Team Spirit having at least one other hero that has the crowd control because the good thing about Uranus, he's hard to kill. The bad thing is he has 0 crowd control. So I feel like Team Spirit, especially when they want to go into the team fights with Yangon, they might need at least one more. And then Zarigos will be perfectly fine on this season shit.
It's great setup though. They already got rid of the Arlot as well. And if they're looking to steal away the Ruby, then it will be looking good for Team Spirit. Yangon might then just revert to looking at other potential backline heroes maybe that they can just commit to finding either Hiko or either Zar. But in this scenario, you have to just don't really pour in much into hero synergy again, because this is looking like a really good team fight comp if you want to play around the board.
I mean, Spirit, if they get something like a Minotaur, it does help out with the sustain as well as the crowd control. Betting on the Harem is good here because again, I feel like Harem would be the number 1 choice for Team Spirit, so that yes, they have 2 scalers, but Harem is still usable even without 3 items.
အဲ့တော့တော့တင်ကြတယ်ခုနကတော့တက်လာငါတို့ဒီကလောက်ဒီကိုကောင်းကောင်းကြီးဒုက္ခပေးခဲ့တဲ့ Harry ကိုဝါကြီးဘက်ကပြန်ပြီးတော့ခိုင်းတာလေ
right now. Marcel is still available.
တင်းစပရစ်ကိုဒုက္ခပေးတာရဲ့အားလုံးကလည်း respect ပဲဘန်လို့မရဘူးပေါ့ပြန်ပန်းတာတည်း
And of course, at the end of the day, they could also take it on the side of YG, and there's the Marcel.
Okay, Marcel.
You're pretty much high rank MLBB now, right?
You know,
and now I feel like you're just mythic.
What your rank is already. You're probably admitting it to us.
That's my all.
Right now for YG, I would say the good thing for them is
Team
Spirit has a pretty squishy
Komavi.
lineup. So if they can
Jangan
get
Komavi
a jungler that can capitalize on that as a finisher, I
Kono
think
Boy
it'll be good. I
Long
feel like the Eudora in the
Cô
early
ye,
game won't be able to
cô
burst
so
them
này
out
này hero
that
đúng
well.
điều chính gì mà
They just need a good follow-up. They need a good follow-up, able to chase. I feel like that's the number one thing YG needs. They need a hero that can chase. The Marcel, Mason Shin, as well as the Zushin. I feel like Nolan is still okay, but they picked up the box, yeah. So they're going back to tank, jungle, and having the Benedetta, and then the Granger picked up. I said they won't either the Granger because again they just need that early game. But if scaling becomes a thing, the Claude as well as the Benedetta can do this Granger. I mean, Claude has a good lane against the Granger, so I'm liking YG's draft despite not liking tank jungle.
You did say chase, right? I think the backshot is a lot of chase if they just really want to go for that. But yeah, I have to agree. Yana have introduced something yet creative once again, and I think currently we've been talking so much about the meta rewarding creative drafts. Let's just see if they can pull it off efficiently against Team Spirit this time, who are currently on momentum.
Well, Cold Star likes the draft, show some hearts to the fans at home and in the stands here at MSC. Feeling good about Team Spirit's chances to go 3-1 up, and Yangon trying to tie it up again.
Let's go.
A truly mythical battle that is being set before us. A composition this time for the Galacticos. They've got Ying on a playmaker with a Petrify in hand, and Hiko says, you know what, I'm not purifying this. I don't win the lane. I will combo with my boy Sawo, and we will close this out. I have to see how this is going to play out, because we've seen many times in these matchups where the Baxia generally takes the early game pressure away from a Yishin Shin.
That's the thing, but it was in a different meta entirely. A meta where the jungle didn't give too much gold. Now the Yishin Shin being able to pop really quickly, able to get those items quicker as well. Will it stop that snowball from the box shot? That's the question, and that's why YG, they're already setting their sights on stealing some of that camps, those camps away from Team Spirit.
And this is exactly what they want. I don't know if Yangon planned for game number 4 to go this way.
I don't know when you got from
Azara and then look to punish him later down in the series. Early on though, I'm a little worried how TS is going to play. At first neutral objective doesn't seem very winnable for them, and then once level 4's come out, it's still sort of, okay, hold on.
Oh, there's going to be quick speed and Prio in the mid lane goes over to Team Spirit. Tempo up top as well. This is what I'm talking about. The clear speed of the Yishin Shin. Level 4 already. And Hans level 3 play might be in a bad spot now. Sour. Shocker. Might be threatening a take on his Magic Shocker. Baits out the retribution. It's going to be down right as the turtle spawns up later on.
Yeah, this is such a big win for TS because even regardless, they don't even have to contest the turtle, right? It's just going back to their own side of the jungle, finishing it. Oh, Zara with the traces, trying to break up that shield unity if necessary. They do not want Hiko to fall behind. That does show a little bit of priority on who has the most important job and what they want to get done and accomplished. First turtle up, it's up to anybody who's gonna get it.
I think for me, Team Spirit shouldn't contest this one.
Okay.
They know the objective is basically the win condition of Yangon Galacticos with a
Alima,
Sao getting blasted. Against this snowball comp from YG.
Yep, and this is the creativity that we were really seeing from Yangon in game number 3. But here in game number 4, it's completely separate beast. Yangon now actually having even much of an economic lead. They want to make sure that every moment matters here. At the end of the day, still, it's going to be up to Sanji finding that big play at the end to try and chase them down. And I think as long as they are, trying to set up this unstoppable force into this immovable object, they can push anything out. Beautifully done by Han.
Yep. Good move. The Crimson Beacon now down. YG can be looking for plays around the map, and again, the big question mark for YG is still, is this enough? Because I don't think it is, Gideon, right? For this composition, you need to be the ones controlling the neutral objectives to just stay even, but by doing that, Zaur has just used these little windows of opportunity to get ganks, to get camps, shield. Oh, the golden hour saves it. Perfectly done.
ဘယ်လိုအဲ့ဒီတော့မတော်သေးဘူးအတီးပဲချင်းချင်းကြည့်နေဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာပြန်ဝင်သွားပြီရောက်ခရန်ဂျာလာတော့မှတုံးတာကွက်တီပဲလိုချင်တာအဲ့ကွန်ဘောဟလား
punish with the
Yeah,
advanced
Ballerina
impact
Uruguay
conducted fork lightning and Sanji. While this was all going down, that early rotation coming in from Hiko, he's going to take all the gold in the world. Now we are starting to see the leads. The only unfortunate part is that Blink has been taking these kills. But other than that, really, at this stage of the game, with how much money is on the line, the pressure and the pride of regions as well, Yangon, doesn't matter. As long as we get the kills, we're fine.
Hiko with a rotation getting caught. I agree. YG now they're a step closer to again pushing that lead to a spot where this competition should be able to get by this point of the game. But Team Spirit seems like they are confident that they have reached some of the power spikes as well to go through the test. Bomba in the midst of it all. Zaur one into Blink, and can they chase on Han? Yes, they can, and they find it.
ကလော်ဒီယာအောက်မှာဖြစ်နေ4 5ရောက်ပဲဆိုင်ရလို့ဖြစ်သွားတယ်
final blow to take Sao down, but the rest of
Spiritလေးတော့ရလိုက်တယ်ဆိုပေမဲ့လည်းဒီဘက်မှာဒီဘိုးဘက်ကလည်းမရခဲ့ဘူးเนาะ4 5ရောက်ဆိုင်ရလို့ဖြစ်သွားတာပါအဓိက
and it was the mountain shocker and the
ဘိုးဘ
level
က်ကြီးယာကဗီဒီယိုပြစ်လိုက်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့တွေးဖင်ကကြံနေတာ
a bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean they managed to get one trade, but it's so unfortunate that especially for Ying, who actually was in great position with the Electro Fireball and Petrify, just didn't catch Hiko at the very end, who shows up the last second to take him out. So with Sky Piercer stacks already involved here, Yangon have to recognize trading may not necessarily be the answer if those kills are going to get funneled over to Hiko's side. We've seen how devastating it was in our third place match between Falcons alongside... Oh wait, hold on, wow, a bit of a strange contestation here, especially for mid-priority. It doesn't seem necessary, but he's getting some trouble.
Bottom lane, the flicker of Hiko away from Han. So it's Wrath to try to mid out for the flicker in the bottom lane, and replacement 10-minute end. Kevin was a beast there. Hiko's not a 7-0 Ranger just yet, but it is going to build up, and the question is again for YG whether or not they can stop this snowball from happening to a scale composition.
Hey, speaking of that snowball here, so far using the golden hour, no waves whatsoever. Both sides are willing to start throwing resources at each other just to make something happen here, and luckily they're doing it before the turtle actually spawns. However, that golden hour a little dangerous, and of course Zaur coming up with a 1.3k lead on his side. He's got the advantage. Question is, will he get the space?
3-level advantage. If the red trees were already tough to win in a 50-50 where you had the level, again, I mean, if you have the same level, now it's going to be very tough. They try to blitz the turtle, but they just don't have the enough damage. Conceal the bottom lane all the way here. Zaur making his way over, rather than try and lock him down. Zaur, found a shocker, that's in the middle of Sanchez!
ဟိုကကလော်ဒီဝင်တော့ရှင်းနေအကုန်ဖင်ကက်နေနော်ဆိုင်ပြီးအောင်ရေးရှယ်ပဲဗတဲ့နှစ်ချမ်းပွဲသွားဆိုရင်ဒါမှသင်းစပစ်ကတော့အမားတော့လုံလိုက်ရတယ်ဘာမှမဖြစ်သေးဘူး easy ဘာမှမဖြစ်သေးဘူး
And Spirit
ဒီဘက်တည်းကကောင်းနေတယ်
It's Bomba again, deathless this
ကောင်းနေ
time.
အတီးကဒီဟမ်
The Uranus against Han takes it away as well. Recalls in space and Zaur pushes up top, gets a turret, and the trade is again good for Spirit.
They can't stop this. Let's look at the replay one more time.
Amazing
round of the hitting onto multiple targets here, but look at the chain here. That Kai Sade set up for Sanji, and yet it still wasn't enough. Those frontliners are a huge problem right now.
And Bomba waiting in the BMI, being the assassin on Uranus. Mountain shocker again. Zaur looking for the angle. Blink gonna be caught. Rather to drive, forced out of him. Pull back into Hiko's bullets.
Good block. Good body damage.
Yeah, look, they're going on.
Getting some pressure on the opposite side. Now that they have an ESP, not only clears waves ultra fast, but also has incredible movement. They're not going to be put in the same scenarios like they did in the previous couple of games where we got to worry about our side lanes. We won't be able to get there in time. No. It's a different story this time, and I think that TS recognized it.
လေဂိမ်းဆိုရင်တော့တိတာတယ်လေဂိမ်းကြရင်တော့လေဂိမ်းထီတော့တင်းစပရစ်ကိုဆွဲဆော့လို့မရဘူး
But they haven't been able to find those clutch moments even in the late game with these kind of compositions before that game 5 against Falcons. One of the best examples of that. So YG can never be counted out, even after they've been outscaled.
Yep, and I think the scariest part is the fact that YG have two incredibly fast rotating heroes. And I don't know if they're going to get the punish on this one. Still, Ying using his eye for an eye was thinking that maybe he was going to get hit by the turtle, but yo, Sanji. Real dangerous here using BMI so aggressively. We'll see whether or not TS has the information.
Oh God, it's about to be a 4-level lead between the junglers. Blake's gonna get poked down. Rhapsody and the Sonata, that's gonna be the shield unit landing on Sunset 11, but a good golden hour to stop
Yeah,
it.
the delivery speed is the Valerie win home la.
Right now, goes Abraham, gonna
Dai dum lai dum la, 3 man China ဆိုတဲ့အနေထားမှာ Cloudy တွေပဲဝင်သွားပြီ။ကျွန်တော်မသိပါဘူးကွာ finger လေးနဲ့ကြံခဲ့တာအဲ့ဒါတော်တော်ဆိုးသွားပြီဟို shit
instantaneously out of nowhere. Hiko finds
Oh.
the shot, thread the needle.
Oh, wow,
And
finger
now
lead
it's
is
just
what
Han. Team Spirit
လူချင်း
played
ကြီး
such
က
a
လာ
good
ကြည့်ရတယ်
game. It
ဒါ
was
၄ ပွဲ
Han
မြောက်
with
ပြီ
the victory.
round 4ဖြစ်သွားပြီ
YG,
ပေါ့နော်
that looked like they
Match
had
4
the
ပေါ့
AoE, but Team Spirit are now the
Team
ones
Spirit ကနှစ်ပွဲနိုင်တာရယ်
knocking
YG က
on
တစ်ပွဲပဲ
YG's
နိုင်သေးတယ်
door.
လောလောဆယ်အနေထားက
Holy cow.
YG က
Hiko
ဒီ
something
တော့
unlocked in him.
4900
He suddenly
ပေး
became
တာ
Neo
ပေါ့
from
နော်
the Matrix all of a sudden.
အဲ့မှာကွာ Cloudy ဝင်သွား
This was
ဟို
an
တော့ကတော့
incredible play,
တင်
right?
ကန်နီး
They
လို့
first zoned them out.
Oh.
Blazing Duet comes on through, and Hiko said, "You know what?
These are
Doesn't
hit
matter. You're
them,
standing too close to
more
each other. As soon
easy.
as I land it, you are gone."
Bomba's feeling it. Team Spirit are feeling it. It's something in the air. Hiko's popping off. Sunset, Salmo, Zaur, Bomba, everyone.
You know, while before the cast,
အမှန်တည်းပြော
before
ရင်
we
ခုန
even
ကတော့
got to the draft, we got to see Mama Bomba walk by. And
Valerie
there was
သုံးရ
one
တဲ့
thing that
ဒီ
she said that is
80
really
280
stuck.
ရဲ့
Today
တိုင်
is
နေရ
the
တ
day.
ယ်
They really feel it. They put so much
နောက်
heart
ကျ
into
သွား
this.
လို့ခံ
54
စားရ
stacks already built up onto
အဲ့ထက်ပို
Hiko.
ပြီးတော့
How
တော်
can
တော်
he
သုံး
not
လို့
feel
ရတယ်
like
ပေါ့
he
နော်
is him right now as they basically unlock the architecture of Yangon? They're looking for a T2 at this stage, and they're going to double confirm with the help of the turtle bow. They've got the vision, but at the same time they know Ying is
နည်းနောက်ကျသွား
nowhere
လို့ခံ
close.
စားမိတယ်
And now it's YG. They got to
အဲ့
dig
တော့
deep.
ငါရောက်စလုံး Eddie စုံတဲ့အချိန်
Yangon
မှာ
Galacticos again
ဝင်
find
မယ်လို့ဝင်လို့ရတယ်
themselves
အဲ့ချိန်ကြီး
far behind. And unlike in game number 2 where they were able to equalize with their own lead,
YG
they
ကတော့
went for this
NSC
competition,
ရဲ့
the
ဒီ
early
ပွဲ
one. They got 2.
နောက်ထပ်
out of
lob
three
ပဲတွေ
neutral
မှာတော့
objectives,
နိုင်မှတော့
but
ရ
they
မှာ
just couldn't
ပေါ့နော်
capitalize
တော်တော်
on
ကြီးကို
those
ပွဲရ
team
ပြတ်လာတော့
fights.
မှာ
It's been very, very
Legend
difficult,
change
but at least
cancel
Guardian
လို့
Helm
ရတယ်
is purchased by Han. So again, he can walk up forward as long as he doesn't get picked up and thrown backwards into a chain
ပြီးတော့
CC combination
ဒီပွဲ
from
မှာ
TS.
performance အတွက်တော့
Will be able to
ဒီဇိုင်းရင်းပစ်
retain
လို့
his
ပြော
position
ဒီ
with
ဇိုင်းရ
the
င်းပစ်
rest
လို
of
က်
the
တာတော်
team
တော်တိတာ
during these lore dances. And I think that's the scary part right now. Both sides understand that not... Oh, hold on. We're seeing the TS proactively trying to get something out of Yangon. It's the consistent push and pull. And like LaFell said, it's how creative you can actually get. You've got set plays, but of course, how do you make it
အဲ့တ
all
ကောင်
line
တော့
up?
ဒုက္ခပေးညောင်ကြီးခေါင်းတွေ
I guess
ကူးပြီး
it's
တော့
through
ချိန်ကြ
YG finding a big combo, but that's so hard to achieve as well.
I think it's a little bit more than that.
2 purifiers are revitalized as well. Now a BOD on Hiko.
He is massive, and they need to be able to cut those stacks in half. Half the problem is actually just finding Hiko. And I think
Exactly.
even Ying understands, it's like, man, around these neutral pits, they ring
don't
around
fight
Rosie us.
And
I'm
even
open up
if they do, Gideon,
I
Zaur
will
is
move.
still there as the secondary
I
carry,
will
the man
move.
that's
Open
been
up way.
targeted, that has given Hiko space. If you go for Hiko, you give space
Let's
to
go, Saber.
Zaur. They
Well,
get the
fine,
mountain
then,
chakra, they see Sanji up top, they go for the burst on the Lord, and it is
Yeah,
not
Lord,
really
but-
contested.
oh, man, yeah, like,
It's way
ooh.
too far behind. 3 levels
အဓိက
under.
vision မ
This is
တာရ
fine,
ဘူး
this
နော်
is fine. They still have some
ခြေ
decent
ပွဲတွေ
wave
တော့ဆို
clear
စလီ
on
နာ
their
တို့ပါ
side. They
ပါ
might
တော့
have to
vision တာတော့
sacrifice
လုံးလို့
a
ရ
bit,
တယ်
but
ဘာလို့
honestly,
ဒီ
at
ပေါ်
this
မဲ့
stage
တို
of
င်
the
နေ
game,
ပါ
you gotta sacrifice
ဘူး
more
ကတော့
than just that.
ဘာစီရ
So
နည်း
much
နည်း
heart
နောက်
has
ရောက်
been
သွား
put
တယ်
into this game.
ဖက်
Such
ကြ
a
ည့်ရ
big
ချင်
difference.
တော့
And
တော့
there you go, flicker out
ပြန်လှည့်တဲ့ချိန်
from
မှာ
Sanji.
လောကတေသွားတယ်လို့
Might
ဖြစ်
have
သွား
costed him this next push.
အဲ့တော့အမှန်တည်းပြောဒီလောကတိုင်တော်မဆိုင်လဲပဲပလင်းပေးလဲတယ်လို့ဖြစ်သွားတယ်အ
It's
မျိုး
about building that lead again. It's about going back to basics,
အမှန်
playing
ဆိုရ
around
င်
the
ဘယ်လို
fundamentals,
ဆိုင်
the
ကြောင်ဆောင်ပြီးတော့တည့်ရမှာ
fundamentals
retreat
that they've
ဒီပေါက်
relied
ကို
on their entire careers. Making it to
Basia
this
alone
point
playing,
and
you know, win
again
GH,
winning
and then
through
this
it.
time is so
Small
hard.
leads
That's
building
not
up. Now bot wave and the top wave coming down as well. Sanji, you gotta be careful, buddy.
Cloudy.
You got no flicker.
And now the siege begins.
Don't
All
let them
lighting has
block.
already
Holy.
been thrown out. That's guaranteed to at
ဘော
least
နဲ့
get
တော့
one
နဲ့တယ်ကွာလုံးဝ
inhibitor here.
ဒီ
Zaur up
သူ့
top,
အစုမခံ
dodges away from The swings, the slashes, Hiko in the mid lane, picking up the base turret. Lord already coming down as well, but YG are able to clear it. Alive, taking a shot on from the turret.
This is smart. TS, they're trying to keep them to the top and make sure that the bottom wave actually collapses and they can at least net themselves the long lanes inhibitor. That would be great, but they know that they delayed it on purpose, so they're going to take it one by one.
Baba baited everything. The ball lightning, the Thunder's wrath. They got no resources now. It's all up to Ying and Blink.
This is immaculate wave control from Team Spirit. They're gonna get this too, unless YG want to die for it. Winds of Nature purchased by Hiko, and I think that's the final nail that they were looking for.
We've had Lord Dance before. We've had some of these terms that we've seen. That was Dragon Siege, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness. They've already climbed over the walls. And as they
burned the walls down.
It's gone by. It's pure devastation on a macro level. Malefic gun purchased by Sanji. I don't even know if that's going to be enough, but he probably won't lose his true Sunset Lover again if that is the case. If he can kite him out, he can maintain his stacks.
If he caught him.
Hey, he's got BMI. Sanji ain't gonna make mistakes like that, I hope. I hope and pray. We never know in these types of games, man. The pressure eventually gets to some of these players, and we'll either see them rise or fall.
And now we have to take a look at this goal difference. 11,000. Sanji, he was the main man to try to get on Hiko's tower as well, but now the Wind of Nature is built for Hiko. You can't even do that. Ying as well. What is that damage?
Hiko coming back online. Now they're just going to chase who's next. Blink on the chopping block. You're going to turn into a maniac or you're going to make him a savage. TF, let's find out. There's a knocking on the door here in game number 4.
Ying brought a katana to a gunfight. Hiko showed him exactly why you don't do that. Golden Hour. Sanji able to flicker out of the Golden Hour. Pops in the blazing duet already. But Hiko's gone like Sour walks up. It's Hiko with the shots again. He finds another. And Team Spirit secure match point.
And you can see nobody on the side of Team Spirit. They're not jumping for joy just yet. They know that there is only one more game to become a champion. They've achieved match point.
To quote Sunset Lover after securing grand finals, job's not done. And it truly isn't done yet. Yangon Galacticos, they've been able to dig deep before. They've been able to come back before. Now 3-1. What do they need to pull it back?
Man, I want to say comfort picks. Most teams,
they got it. The Baksha was there.
Most teams, especially when pushed into these corners, they start playing the things, even if it's in a bad composition, just to feel comfortable, just to put everything on the line to say that we gave it our best shot. I think Yangon still have hope, but so far, these mid-games, and especially when it comes down to battling, these trench warfares between Spirit and Yangon Galacticos have always seemed to come into the hands of Team Spirit if the early game isn't completely dominated by the Galacticos.
And you can see it again, man. These fights are so good for YG. Up until Hiko said, he walks up there, he stays in the back, waits for everyone. The ego, not just in Zaur, but in Hiko. He literally waited for his teammates to die in front of him, and he said, no, I can carry, I'll get these shots. And then he was up ahead like this, he just takes those fights against a better no problem.
So many battles that we've seen in the skies, but this is beyond our atmosphere. Let's throw it over to our battle analyst to break it down for you of how truly mythical this is.
Well, when you look at the competition that has been afoot here at MSC, we have seen some tremendous performances. But the way Hiko, Kid Bamba, Sour, Sunset Lover, the rest of this Team Spirit roster, all the way from the very beginning, they have figured something out. They set it in scrims, they've proven it here, and they are one win away from being the, I guess, well, I'm going to say the best team in MLBB in the galaxy. That's right, they are. And of course, that still means YG has a chance to respond. And we know that you watching in Myanmar are still supporting. There is still hope there. But there's just something that Team Spirit, I think Mirko said it, is in the air for this team.
Yeah, and even if we did hear Gideon say something about maybe reverting back to comfort as
ခုန
probably
က
one of the
ဘလို့မြင်
go-to
လိုက်လားတော့မသိဘူး
solutions
ဒီ
to
အပေါ်လမ်းမှာ
scenarios like this where you're just so far behind.
လော့ဘ
I
တ်တယ်
think we
လားမသိ
already
ဘူး
saw
ပထ
that
မ
from
ဆုံး
Yangon in the
second လော့လား
first two
first လော့
games
လားမသိ
even maybe.
အဲ့ဘက်ထဲ
They've
မှာ
been
ဆိုတော့
already trying
enemy
to
လေး
go
ကောင်
for
လုံးဝ
comfort
စု
and
နေ
now they took a
ငါတို့က
different
လည်း
route. They
အဲ့ဒီအပြည့်
became a bit more
နော်
creative. We
စပယ်အ
saw
ပြည့်
the
ဟို
intention, we
flicker
saw
တွေ
the
ပါအကုန်ရှိ
potential,
တယ်ကွာ
but they just
ကုန်စုံ
couldn't
နေ
bring it to fruition.
enemy ဘက်ကအဲ့နားမှာ9ယောက်ကိုစုစုစည်းစည်းရှိတာအမှန်
when you're going up against Kid
ဝင်ရ
Bomba
တော့မယ်ဆို
because
တော့
I think
သူတို့
I
ရဲ့
said this yesterday,
decision
he
ပေါ့
is
နော်အဲ့
shaping up to
decision
be
ချရနည်းနည်းနောက်ကျသွားတယ်ထင်တယ်
player in
တကယ်ဝင်တဲ့
MLBB
ချိန်ကျတော့
because at this
3 man
point, I don't
stand
know,
ပဲ
man,
ရလိုက်တယ်ပေါ့
he's
နော်
a guy of
3 man
nightmares,
stand
but
ရ
as the
ပြီး
saying
တော့
goes, you
ဒီ
can't reason
လော့ဘတ်ရဲ့
with
အ
the
ဝိုင်း
dragon
ရဲ့
when your
အပေါ်
head
ဘက်
is
မှာ
in its mouth.
သွားဆိုင်
And
လိုက်ရ
the
သူ
thing
ဖြစ်
that
သွား
the
တာ
Kid
ပူ
Bomba
လူရာ
has
ရောက်
been
ဟိုးနောက်
doing
မှာ
is
ရောက်
just
နော်အမှန်အဲ့ကွန်မို့အတွက်တောက်ချောက်မိရ
destruction.
ပါ
And I
အဲ့လိုပေါ့
if you want to go for
အဲ့တော့
comfort,
အလေခြုံနားမှာဆိုလို့
deal
ရှိရ
with
င်အဲ့
Kid
ကွန်မို့
Bomba
ပို့ပြီးတော့
for
မိ
you
လိမ့
to
်မယ်
actually be comfortable.
ပူလူရာလည်း
Until
နီးနီး
then,
လေးရှိရပေါ့
it's
နော်
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
အဲ့ကွန်မို့တွေအဲ့လို
It's
မျိုးန
funny
ည်းနည်း
because
နောက်ကျသွားတယ်
you
ပါ
know,
တ
and
ယ်
four of the
ပါ
players
တော့
on
ဘာဖြစ်သွားလဲဆို
Team
တော့
Spirit,
ရီဇန်
and I
ရှင်း
did
က
mention Zower, and one of the reasons why is again he doesn't
ဘယ်လို
at
အဲ့
least
ဒီ
from what
ပြုတ်
I
သွား
saw
တဲ့အချိန်
have
မှာချက်ချင်း
almost
ဝေါ်ကြော်
lead
လိုက်တော့ငါတို့
against.
လိုက်လို့မရ
And
တော့
again,
တကယ်လို့ဒါအ
all
လေ
the
ချုံပုံ
access,
နား
which
မှာ
has
ဆို
been
လို့
the
ရှိရင်ဒီ
talking
ကောင်
point.
ခုံလို့ရှိရင်လည်းငါတို့ဆက်လိုက်
Don't
လို့
pick
ရတ
it.
ယ်
Why are you picking it? We haven't seen it
Hey,
work.
hey, look.
Still finds
Hey,
a way
buddy,
to
man,
make
I
it
need
work.
to
And
tweet.
Han reaching deeper and deeper into stuff that, you know, we're questioning LaFell, but Team Spirit just feel like they're too
3-1
comfortable
တော့ဖြစ်
across
သွား
the
ပြီ
board.
And the thing that Zara Eco is more
ရှင်ပြီး
about
တော့မှာပါ
testament of everyone else.
Relax.
Everyone does so much that he's like anything for
ပြီး
you.
ဟိုက
Hello?
ကြည့်မယ်နော်
just
ဗာလဲ
gets
ပက်ကြီးပွဲလေး
maniacs,
တော့ကြည့်
you
ဦး
know, gets a double,
ကောင်း
gets a
ငန်း
triple, and he's like,
ပက်ကြီးပွဲ
I
လည်းကောင်းနေ
mean,
ပြီ
sure. I mean, as long as we win, I guess.
Yeah.
ပြိုင်ပွဲချိန်
Nico-
မို့ရင်တဲ့သူတို့
Nico
အတန်
Minions
နဲ့
back.
အနည်းငယ်
He came
ဟော
back in this game, especially. We didn't see a Savage. He was close
အဲ
to
သူတို့အတန်နည်းနည်းတိုးလာပြန်မကြားလို့ပဲ
We
ရ
saw
ရရ
Maniac from him as well.
ချရမှာအကောင်းဆုံးပြင်ဆင်နေကြပါလေ
Ranger too, so
အမှန်တိုင်းပြောရင် 1G အနေနဲ့ဒီပွဲမှာဒုတိယရခဲ့မယ်ဆိုတော့တန်နေပါပြီ
with a lineup with
အဲ့တော့သူတို့အကောင်းဆုံးလုပ်ပြခဲ့ပြီကွာဒီလားဒီ Mobile Legends နေပမှာပြတ်မလားဟိုဘာမစ်ကိုအရင်တော့လုပ်ပြပြီးတော့ဘယ်အသင်းမှထပ်မထွက်လာတဲ့အနေထားမှာကွာပထမ